The longevity code, the scientific way to rewind your biological clock and feel younger now. A book written by Dr. Jonathan Hale and Dr. Grace Adler. Chapter 1. How Old Are You Really? By Dr. Jonathan Hale. When most people think about age, they think about a number printed on their driver's license or written on their birthday cake. It feels simple and fixed. Each year adds one more, and we assume that tells us how old we are. But inside your body, another clock is ticking. This one is not set by the calendar. It is set by how your cells are working, how much repair is happening, and how well your body keeps itself in order. That inner clock is what we call your biological age. It can run faster or slower than time itself, and for many people, it does not match the number they celebrate each year. I have met people in their 70s who move like they are 50. I have also met people in their 40s who already struggle with stiffness, low energy, and slow recovery after a simple cold. The difference between them is not luck. It is the result of how their bodies have aged on the inside. Two people can live the same number of years, yet their bodies can tell two very different stories. The one who eats well, sleeps well, stays active, and manages stress sends healthier signals to every cell. Over time, those signals can keep their inner clock running slower. The one who lives under constant pressure, eats poorly, and moves very little teaches their body to age faster. To understand why this happens, think of your body as a large city. Each cell is like a house, each organ a neighborhood, and your blood vessels are the roads that connect them. When the city is well maintained, traffic flows smoothly, repairs happen quickly, and people inside those houses thrive. But if repairs are delayed, waste piles up, and power lines break, the city begins to wear out. Biological age tells us how well that city is being cared for, regardless of how long it has existed. Scientists have learned to measure this inner clock by studying small changes inside our cells. One way they do this is through what's called DNA methylation. You do not need to remember the word, but it helps to picture it. Imagine that your DNA is a long library of instructions for keeping your body running. Each instruction is like a book that tells your cells what to do. Over time, small marks, called methyl groups, act like sticky notes placed on some of those pages. They tell your body which instructions to read and which to skip. When too many of the wrong notes pile up, your cells stop following the best directions, and that's when the body starts to slow down. Another marker scientists look at is telomere length. Telomeres are like the small plastic tips on your shoelaces. They sit at the ends of your DNA strands and protect them from damage. Each time a cell divides, the telomeres get a little shorter. When they become too short, the cell can no longer divide properly. That's one of the reasons we see signs of aging, such as slower healing and loss of skin elasticity. The shorter the telomeres, the older your biological clock reads. These tools give us a glimpse into how fast the body is aging, but they are only part of the story. What truly matters is how we can influence them. You do not need to take a lab test to start adjusting your biological clock. Every choice you make, what you eat, how you rest, how you move, and how you manage your emotions, affects how your cells behave. There is something deeply encouraging about that. It means your body is not stuck in one direction. Aging is not a straight line moving toward decline. It is a living process that listens and reacts to the world around you. The same way stress can make you feel older overnight, calm habits can make you feel younger within days. Before we go further, it is useful to understand what scientists call the hallmarks of aging. These are the 9 main changes that happen inside the body as we grow older. You don't need to memorize them, but by understanding them in simple terms, you will know where to focus your energy. The first hallmark is called genomic instability. Think of your DNA as a set of blueprints used to build and maintain every part of your body. Over time, small errors creep into those blueprints because of stress, sunlight, poor diet, or pollution. When too many mistakes gather, the body spends more time fixing damage than creating new strength. The second hallmark is telomere attrition, which we already touched on. When the shoelace tips at the ends of your DNA wear down, your cells lose their ability to divide properly. That's one reason people notice their skin healing slower or their hair thinning as they age. The third is called epigenetic alteration. This is when those sticky notes on your DNA start to cover the wrong pages. Imagine if your body began ignoring the chapters that control repair and instead started reading only the ones that respond to stress. That's what happens when poor sleep, bad food, or constant worry dominate your life. Next comes the loss of proteosis. Proteins are the workers of your cells. They build, transport, and clean. When the system that controls their quality breaks down, faulty proteins pile up. It's like having broken tools scattered around a workshop. The mess slows everything down and makes repairs harder. Then we have mitochondrial dysfunction. Mitochondria are the small power plants in your cells. They create energy for every heartbeat, every thought, every step. As they age or become damaged, energy production drops, and you start to feel it as fatigue or brain fog. Taking care of them through good food, movement, and rest helps restore that power. The sixth hallmark is cellular senescence. This happens when old cells refuse to retire. Instead of dying and being replaced by new ones, they stay around and release signals that cause nearby cells to weaken too. It's like having a few neighbors who keep playing loud music and breaking the peace. The body can clean them out through processes like fasting and movement, which we will explore later. Next comes stem cell exhaustion. Stem cells are your repair crew. They replace damaged cells and keep your tissues fresh. As we age, the crew gets smaller and slower. But habits like good sleep, balanced nutrition, and avoiding unnecessary toxins help preserve them for longer. The eighth hallmark is deregulated nutrient sensing. This simply means the body loses track of how much fuel it really needs. Imagine a thermostat that no longer knows when to heat or cool. When this happens, we store too much fat, our sugar balance breaks, and inflammation rises. Learning when to eat and when to rest from eating helps fix this. Finally, there is altered intercellular communication. Your cells talk to each other through small chemical messages. When aging disrupts these signals, the body's coordination suffers. It is like a team of workers shouting over noise instead of using radios. By reducing stress and supporting the immune system, we can help that communication stay clear. These 9 hallmarks sound complicated when listed together, but they all describe one thing: how well your body repairs itself. The slower the repairs, the faster you age. The stronger those repairs, the younger your body behaves. I often remind my patients that these hallmarks are not sentences carved in stone. They are dials you can adjust. Every meal, every walk, every night of rest turns one of those dials a little bit in your favor. Small, consistent actions matter far more than any single supplement or new routine. In clinics and studies around the world, we've seen people lower their biological age through steady lifestyle changes. One woman in her 60s came to my clinic with constant fatigue and mild joint pain. Her biological tests showed her body functioning like that of a 70-year-old. We worked together on her nutrition, helping her eat more vegetables, clean proteins, and fewer processed foods. She added a gentle walking routine after dinner and began sleeping regular hours. 6 months later, her biological age had dropped by 5 years. She felt sharper, lighter, and more confident in her body again. Another example comes from research teams that studied volunteers following longevity-based diets and stress reduction programs. After 12 weeks of guided lifestyle change, Many participants showed measurable improvements in their biological markers. In plain terms, their bodies looked younger on the inside. These results are not magic. They are proof that the human body listens. The Body's Reset Button by Dr. When I was a young doctor, one of my first patients was a pair of identical twins in their 50s. They had the same eyes, the same laugh, and the same DNA. Yet when they walked into my office, they looked like they had lived two different lives. One of them had glowing skin, walked briskly, and carried herself with the ease of someone who still felt young. The other moved slowly, had dark circles under her eyes, and spoke about constant fatigue. They shared the same genes, so at first glance, you might assume they would age the same way. But that was not what happened. Over time, I learned that one sister spent her life enjoying regular walks, eating balanced meals, and finding ways to manage stress. The other worked long hours, often skipped meals, and rarely rested. They shared the same genes, so at first glance, you might assume they would age the same way. But that was not what happened. Over time, I learned that one sister spent her life enjoying regular walks, eating balanced meals, and finding ways to manage stress. The other worked long hours, often skipped meals, and rarely rested. Their choices, not their genes, were shaping how their bodies functioned. That day was the first time I explained to a patient what I'm about to explain to you now. You are not a prisoner of your DNA. You are the caretaker of how your DNA behaves. Your body is full of information. Every cell carries your entire genetic code, the complete instruction manual that builds and maintains every part of you. This code, written in your DNA, doesn't change throughout your life. But what does change is how your body reads and uses that code. This is where the science of epigenetics comes in. The word may sound complicated, but its meaning is simple. Epi means above or on top of. So epigenetics is everything that sits above your genes and tells them what to do. Think of your DNA as a piano. The keys never change, but the music you hear depends on how it's played. Your lifestyle, emotions, and environment are the pianist. What you eat, how well you sleep, whether you exercise, how you handle stress, these are all notes in the song of your health. Each choice influences which genes are turned on and which are turned off. Some genes support repair and longevity, while others promote inflammation and wear. Every action you take is like pressing a key on that piano. Some choices create harmony in your body, while others create noise. The good news is that you can always change the tune. Epigenetics explains why two people with the same genes can live very different lives. It also explains why your habits today can shape how you feel next month, next year, and even a decade from now. The beauty of this process is that it is reversible. Just as harmful choices can turn off helpful genes, better choices can turn them back on again. Your genes are not fixed instructions carved in stone. They are more like light switches waiting for your direction. One of the main ways this switching happens is through something called DNA methylation. The term sounds technical, but let's make it simple. Imagine your DNA as a long bookshelf filled with books. Each book is a gene, and each gene contains information on how to build or repair a part of your body. Over time, small chemical tags called methyl groups attach themselves to some of these books. When that happens, it's like dust settling on the covers. Dust doesn't destroy the books, but it makes them harder to read. Your cells start to ignore the instructions that those books contain. Some dust is normal, but too much can slow your body's ability to repair itself. Poor diet, chronic stress, lack of movement, and toxins from the environment all make this dust pile up faster. On the other hand, eating colorful foods, staying active, sleeping well, and reducing stress help your body clean the shelves. In this way, your daily habits become the housekeeping crew for your genes. Scientists have learned that this buildup of methylation patterns can be measured to determine how old your body is on the inside. This is called your biological age. It often tells a more accurate story about your health than your birthday ever could. If your biological age is lower than your actual age, it means your cells are functioning in a younger, more efficient way. If it's higher, it means your body is aging faster than the calendar suggests. But remember, this measurement is not a sentence. It's feedback. It tells you what's happening so you can respond. When people first hear that lifestyle choices can affect how their genes behave, they often feel both amazed and relieved. It means there's real control within reach. You don't have to be a scientist to influence your biology. You already do it every day through the small details of your routine. The way you start your morning, the food you choose, and how you handle tension all communicate directly with your DNA. I once worked with a patient named Clara who came to me feeling constantly tired. She was 62 but felt 20 years older. Her biological test results confirmed that her inner age was ahead of her calendar age by almost a decade. Instead of giving her medication right away, we started with basic changes. She began adding more vegetables and lean proteins to her meals, walking every evening after dinner, and turning off her phone an hour before bed to help her sleep better. 3 months later, she came in smiling. Her energy had returned, her mood was lighter, and she was sleeping through the night for the first time in years. When we retested her biological markers, they showed an improvement that matched her progress. Clara's genes hadn't changed. The piano had been there all along. What changed was how she was playing it. Another example comes from studies done with small groups of volunteers. When they followed simple programs that included better meals, moderate exercise, and relaxation practices for just 8 weeks, their biological ages decreased by an average of 3 years. These were not people with access to advanced treatments. They were ordinary men and women who made small, steady changes. What mattered most was consistency. When we talk about gene expression, we're really talking about communication. Your body listens to every signal you send. When you eat nourishing food, it hears a message of repair. When you rest well, it hears safety. When you stay active, it hears vitality. When you stay stressed and skip rest, it hears danger. Over time, those messages shape your biology. The idea that we can influence how our genes behave used to sound like science fiction. Today, it's a proven fact. But the most powerful part is that it's simple. You don't need expensive tests or complicated routines to start improving your epigenetic health. The process begins with awareness. Once you understand that your choices matter, you begin to make them with more care. That's the beginning of control over your inner clock. Each day, you can make decisions that push your biology toward youth or toward decline. Choosing real foods instead of processed ones helps clean the shelves of your DNA. Taking a short walk instead of staying seated all day improves oxygen flow, which activates repair genes. Spending 10 minutes in calm breathing before bed tells your body it's safe to rest and rebuild. These may sound like small actions, but to your cells, they are powerful commands. If you ever doubt whether these small choices matter, remember the twin sisters I mentioned earlier. They began with the same DNA, but their lifestyles played the piano differently. One let her environment control the tune. The other took control of her own song. Your body is capable of the same shift. You can begin to change the music it plays by the choices you make each day. Epigenetics is the bridge between science and self-care. It explains why your body reacts so quickly to positive change. Within days of sleeping better, eating better, or thinking more calmly, your body begins adjusting gene activity. It may not show on the outside right away, but the work begins inside. It's like turning on lights in a building that has been dim for years. Slowly, room by room, your energy returns. The more you learn to care for your epigenetic code, the more you realize how responsive your body truly is. It's not just about slowing aging, it's about restoring balance. Your genes are like a loyal team waiting for direction. They don't need perfection, just consistent care. The steps you take now set the tone for how you will feel in the next chapter of your life. Every cell in your body is listening. When you treat yourself with care, you are giving your genes permission to heal, repair, and thrive. The same piano that once played a tired melody can begin to play one filled with strength and clarity again. All you have to do is keep choosing the notes that sound like health.
Every time I explain to someone how their genes can change through habits, I notice a familiar look in their eyes. It's a mix of surprise and relief. Most of us grew up believing that our genes decide everything about us. We think of them as permanent, unchangeable, and beyond our reach. But the truth is that your genes listen closely to the signals you send every single day. You may have inherited a set of instructions from your parents, but how those instructions are used is completely up to you. This means that every choice you make becomes a quiet message to your body about how to function. When you eat, move, sleep, or think in a certain way, your genes respond like an attentive student listening to a teacher. If the messages are healthy and consistent, your body performs better. If they are chaotic or full of stress, your body follows that confusion. This is why two people can share similar genetic risks but have very different outcomes. It's not just about what you were born with, it's about how you care for what you have. The food you eat is one of the strongest signals you can send to your genes. When you choose foods that are rich in color and come from nature, your cells receive the nutrients they need to protect and repair themselves. Fruits, vegetables, whole grains, nuts, and lean proteins feed the systems that control inflammation and energy. These foods also help maintain healthy methylation, that process we talked about earlier where chemical tags either block or allow certain genes to be read. Think of each colorful meal as a gentle instruction for your body to restore itself. On the other hand, diets filled with processed foods, sugar, and unhealthy fats send mixed messages. They create stress inside your cells and confuse your internal balance. Over time, these habits make your body switch on genes that promote inflammation and aging while turning off the ones that protect you. The good news is that your body responds quickly to better signals. Within days of eating nourishing meals, your blood chemistry starts to improve. Within weeks, your energy rises and your sleep becomes deeper. These changes are not magic. They are your genes doing what they were designed to do when they receive the right guidance. Movement works the same way. When you stay active, even in simple ways like walking, stretching, or gentle strength exercises, your body sends signals that turn on repair genes. Physical activity tells your muscles to release healing molecules that travel throughout the body. These molecules reduce inflammation, strengthen your heart, and sharpen your mind. You don't need to push yourself to exhaustion to gain these benefits. The key is consistency. A short walk every day tells your genes that your body still has purpose and vitality. Rest is another crucial signal. During sleep, your body performs its most important maintenance. Damaged cells are repaired, hormones are balanced, and your immune system resets. When sleep is short or irregular, your genes shift towards survival mode. They prepare for stress instead of focusing on growth and repair. That's why deep, regular sleep is one of the most powerful ways to support your biological youth. You may not see it happening, but every good night's rest is like giving your body a full tune-up. Stress, if left unchecked, can undo much of this good work. When you live in constant tension, your body releases hormones that keep you on alert. These hormones are helpful when you face real danger, but harmful when they never stop. Chronic stress tells your genes to prepare for defense, not restoration. It shortens the lifespan of your cells and increases inflammation throughout your body. But calming your mind, even for a few minutes a day, begins to reverse this pattern. Simple breathing, gratitude, or time spent outdoors helps lower these stress signals and gives your genes permission to relax. In recent years, researchers have studied how quickly these signals can shift gene activity. In some experiments, volunteers who practiced relaxation techniques for only 8 weeks showed measurable changes in the activity of hundreds of genes related to stress and immunity. Their bodies began producing more anti-inflammatory molecules and fewer harmful stress chemicals. It proves that your inner world is not static. It changes every time you choose calm over worry or peace over pressure. To help my patients remember how to care for their genes, I often give them what I call the 5-minute reset. It's a simple daily habit that combines small actions proven to influence gene expression. Start your day by taking a few deep breaths before looking at your phone or starting work. This single act sets the tone for how your body manages stress. Eat at least one colorful, natural meal filled with vegetables, berries, or greens. Move your body, even briefly, to keep your circulation strong. In the evening, write down one thing you are grateful for. Finally, make sure your room is dark and quiet when you go to bed so your body can enter deep rest. Each of these actions might feel small, but your genes notice them. They help turn on the programs that protect you and turn off the ones that accelerate aging. You don't need to make all the changes at once. Start with one habit and your biology will start to respond. Your body doesn't expect perfection, it only asks for care. It's important to remember that no single food, supplement, or exercise will completely reset your genetic code overnight. The body works best when all its systems cooperate. This means that your nutrition, sleep, mindset, and environment all need to move in the same direction. The balance between these areas is what creates long-term change. Your body knows how to heal, but it can only do so when it feels supported. I often compare the process to tuning a musical instrument. When one string is out of tune, the entire melody sounds off. But once you make small adjustments to each string, the music flows again. Your genes behave the same way. They need small, steady adjustments across different parts of your life. Over time, these changes create harmony in your biology. Another part of this harmony comes from your environment. The air you breathe, the products you use, and even the light you're exposed to affect your gene activity. Spending time in natural light helps regulate your internal clock and improve sleep. Reducing your exposure to unnecessary chemicals, like strong household cleaners or plastics, decreases the burden on your cells. When you make your environment cleaner and calmer, your body's communication improves. The process of resetting your epigenetic code is not about trying to be young forever. It is about learning how to cooperate with your biology instead of working against it. Your genes are not waiting for expensive treatments or perfect diets. They are waiting for consistency, balance, and care. When you start sending the right messages every day, your body begins to respond faster than you might expect. It often starts with small signs. You might wake up feeling more rested or notice that your skin looks healthier. You might find that your thoughts are clearer or your mood steadier. These are not coincidences. They are signs that your genes are working with you instead of against you. The more you practice, the more natural these improvements become. I have seen people in their 70s who began this process and felt more alive than they had in decades. They didn't chase youth, they cultivated vitality. Their blood markers improved, their energy returned, and their sense of purpose deepened. What they all shared was patience. They didn't rush the process or expect perfection. They trusted that every good choice counted, and over time, their bodies rewarded them. Your genes remember how to function well. They are built for survival, repair, and growth. They simply need you to give them the right environment. Every moment of rest, every thoughtful meal, and every deep breath is an instruction your body understands. These actions tell your cells that you want them to thrive. By now, you can see that you are not at the mercy of your DNA. You are a participant in how it behaves. You hold the reset button, and it is pressed not by force, but by attention. Your biological clock listens closely to how you live. Each day is another chance to give it the right rhythm. The more you do, the more your body learns to play the song of health again. In the next chapter, Dr. Grace Adler will show how your mindset, purpose, and emotional state can strengthen your biology in ways that no pill ever could. For now, remember that your body already knows how to reset itself. All it needs is your cooperation, patience, and care. Your genes are listening, and they are ready to begin again.
Chapter 2: How Beliefs Rewrite Biology by Dr. Grace Adler. I once met a woman named Helen at a wellness retreat. She was 72, yet she walked with the ease and brightness of someone half her age. While others her age often talked about slowing down, Helen spoke about learning new things and making plans for the next 10 years. She laughed easily, danced during the evening breaks, and was the first to volunteer for every group activity. When I asked her the secret behind her energy, she smiled and said, "I decided not to be old." She wasn't pretending that her years hadn't passed. She just didn't see aging as a reason to stop living fully. I've thought about Helen many times since then. She made me realize that the way we think about aging shapes how we experience it. Our mindset doesn't just affect how we feel emotionally, it has a direct effect on how our bodies function. When we believe that life is still full of meaning and possibility, the body responds to that belief in ways that support health. Science now shows that our thoughts and attitudes can influence the chemicals and hormones that move through us every day. In simple terms, the way we think and feel can either nurture or harm our biology. You might not notice it, but your body listens to your thoughts. When you feel stressed or anxious, your heart beats faster, your breathing changes, and your muscles tighten. These are all signs that your body is reacting to your state of mind. If you've ever had your stomach tighten during a tense conversation or felt your heart race when you were afraid, you've experienced this connection firsthand. This relationship between the mind and body is constant. It never turns off, even when you're asleep. The science behind this connection is called psychoneuroimmunology, which is just a long word for how your thoughts and emotions affect your brain, nerves, and immune system. You don't need to remember the term. What matters is the understanding that your body takes your emotions seriously. It treats every feeling as information about the world. When you're calm, your body releases chemicals that promote repair and balance. When you're constantly worried, it releases chemicals that prepare you to fight or flee. That's helpful when danger is real, but harmful when it never stops. Chronic stress is one of the most powerful accelerators of aging. When you are under constant pressure, your body releases a hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is useful in short bursts. It helps you stay alert in challenging moments. But when your body produces it all the time, it begins to wear you down. High levels of cortisol over long periods can raise blood pressure, weaken the immune system, slow digestion, and even affect how your skin heals. It makes your inner clock tick faster. You may feel more tired, forgetful, or easily irritated without realizing that stress is the cause. The opposite of stress is not laziness or a lack of ambition, it's balance. When you take time to breathe, to enjoy a meal, or to laugh with someone, your body receives a message of safety. That message tells your cells it's okay to focus on repair instead of defense. The hormones that come from calm and connection, like oxytocin and serotonin, encourage healing and strengthen your immune system. They lower blood pressure, improve sleep, and make you more resilient. The more often your body feels safe, the more time it spends repairing rather than breaking down. One of the most striking examples of this came from a woman I met named Denise. She had spent years caring for her husband after a long illness. During those years, she rarely rested. Her mind was always alert, and her body carried that constant tension. When her husband passed away, she felt completely drained, both physically and emotionally. Her hair had thinned, her skin was pale, and she felt much older than her age. When we began talking, she told me she didn't even recognize herself anymore. We started simple. I encouraged her to create one small routine every day that helped her release tension. She began with 10 minutes of sitting quietly, focusing on her breath. At first, she said it felt strange, but within a few weeks, she noticed her sleep improving. Her appetite returned, she felt lighter, even without changing her diet or exercise. Within months, her energy and brightness came back. The most remarkable part was that her doctor noticed improvements in her blood pressure and inflammation levels. All she had done was allow her body to rest from constant alertness. This kind of change is not a miracle, it's biology responding to peace. When your body is not fighting imaginary threats all day, it finally has the chance to repair what's been neglected. You begin to notice small differences: clearer thoughts, better digestion, softer skin, and deeper sleep. These are signs that your body is healing itself, just as it was designed to. What we believe about ourselves also shapes our physical experience. When people believe that aging automatically means decline, they begin to live that belief. They move less, engage less, and their bodies adapt to that expectation. But when people view aging as a stage of growth, their habits change. They stay curious, move with purpose, and seek connection. Their bodies respond with vitality because their minds are still sending messages of life. There's a well-known study that illustrates this beautifully. A group of older adults were asked to live for a week in an environment that looked exactly like it did 20 years ago. The music, magazines, and decor all came from their younger years. They were encouraged to talk as if they were living in that time. By the end of the week, many of them showed measurable improvements in strength, posture, and memory. Some even had better vision. Nothing magical had happened. Their surroundings simply reminded their minds of youth, and their bodies followed that signal. I've seen this happen in everyday life too. A retired teacher I once met joined a community choir after years of isolation. Within a few months, she said her joint pain lessened and her energy returned. Another man I knew, a widower in his late 60s, began volunteering at a local youth center. He told me he hadn't felt that alive in years. His doctor noticed his blood sugar had stabilized. Both of them changed not because of medication, but because their lives became filled with meaning again. Human beings are social by nature. We are built to connect. Loneliness, on the other hand, acts like a silent stressor. It increases inflammation and weakens immunity, just like chronic tension does. This is why social interaction and a sense of belonging are not emotional luxuries. They are biological necessities. When you talk, laugh, share, and feel understood, your body releases chemicals that protect your heart and calm your nerves. Connection literally heals. It's easy to underestimate how much your surroundings and your community shape your health. In places around the world where people live long, vibrant lives, such as certain small towns in Japan, Italy, and Costa Rica, community is at the center of their well-being. They eat together, walk together, and support one another. They wake up each morning with a reason to be part of something larger than themselves. These are not just cultural traditions, they are longevity habits. When we lose our sense of purpose, we age faster. Purpose gives your days rhythm and meaning. It makes your body feel that it still has work worth doing. Even something as simple as tending a garden, caring for a pet, or helping a neighbor can remind your body that it matters. Purpose doesn't have to be grand. It just has to feel real to you. The most important thing to remember is that aging well is not about fighting time. It's about aligning your thoughts, emotions, and actions in a way that supports life. When your mindset focuses on growth, gratitude, and connection, your biology follows. Your cells listen to the tone of your inner world. If that tone is calm and hopeful, your body stays in repair mode longer. If that tone is fearful or hopeless, your body stays in defense mode. I've come to see that the most powerful form of self-care begins with how you speak to yourself. When you tell your body it's too late, it listens. When you tell it that you're still capable, loving, and living with purpose, it listens to that too. You can choose which message it hears more often. This understanding is not meant to ignore real pain or struggle. It's about remembering that even in difficulty, your body still responds to kindness, both from others and from yourself. Every gentle thought and every peaceful breath sends healing messages to yourselves. You may not see it happening, but inside, your body is adjusting its chemistry in response. Your mindset is not just an idea, it's an active part of your biology. The more you nurture thoughts that make you feel safe, hopeful, and engaged, the more your body begins to mirror that youthfulness back to you. This is the beginning of the longevity mindset, not a denial of age, but a partnership with life itself. There is something quiet but powerful that happens when you begin to care for your inner world the same way you care for your body. Many people spend years trying to fix the outside while ignoring what happens in their thoughts each day. But your mind is the lens through which your body experiences everything. If that lens is clouded with constant worry, frustration, or sadness, it becomes harder for your biology to stay balanced. When the lens is clear and calm, every system inside you begins to work better. Learning to calm the mind is not about forcing yourself to be positive all the time. It is about creating space between you and your thoughts so that stress does not become your permanent companion. Life will always bring challenges, but your body does not have to live in constant reaction to them. The goal is not to eliminate stress, but to teach your body how to recover from it more easily. Most people carry tension without realizing it. It shows up as a tight jaw, stiff shoulders, or shallow breathing. The body holds these patterns like a memory of worry. One of the simplest ways to start releasing them is to pause for a few moments each day and notice your breathing. When you breathe slowly and deeply, your heart rate begins to settle, your muscles loosen, and your brain receives the message that you are safe. Even 1 or 2 minutes of calm breathing can make a difference. It is a simple act of reminding your body that it no longer needs to prepare for danger. I once worked with a woman named Lillian who always seemed busy. She worked hard, cared for her grandchildren, and rarely rested. When we first talked, she admitted that she often woke up feeling tired even after a full night's sleep. Her mind never stopped racing. I asked her to try a simple practice. Sit quietly for 5 minutes each evening and pay attention to her breath. At first, she said it felt strange, but after a few weeks, she noticed something unexpected. Her sleep became deeper and her mornings felt lighter. Her mood improved and she laughed more easily. By calming her body, she had also calmed her mind, and in return, her health began to respond. This process of relearning calm does not require special skills. It is about returning to something your body already knows how to do. When you were a child, your breath naturally flowed with ease. Stress and hurry taught it to shorten. You can teach it to slow down again. Each time you take a steady breath, you are telling your body that it can stop fighting and start healing. Purpose also plays a vital role in how long and how well we live. People who have a reason to get up in the morning, no matter how small, tend to stay more active and resilient. Purpose gives your brain direction, and your biology follows that lead. It keeps your body from slipping into the quiet decline that often comes when days feel empty. In many parts of the world where people live long, healthy lives, purpose is woven into daily life. In some small Japanese towns, for instance, elders often wake up early to tend their gardens, teach younger generations, or prepare food for their families. They call this sense of meaning ikigai, which roughly translates to a reason for being. You do not have to live in Japan to experience that feeling. You only need something that gives your life shape and value. It can be caring for your family, creating art, helping others, or simply learning something new each day. I met a man named George who found his purpose after retirement. For years, he felt lost without the structure of work. His days felt long and dull, and he began to withdraw from friends. His doctor noticed that his blood pressure was rising and that he had gained weight. One day, George decided to volunteer at a community garden near his home. Within months, his energy returned. He said the fresh air and the company of others made him feel alive again. When he returned for his next medical checkup, his numbers had improved. George hadn't started any new medications. He had simply found a reason to get out of bed each morning. Connection works in a similar way. The body thrives on belonging. When you feel supported and seen, your nervous system relaxes. When you feel isolated, your body behaves as though it is under threat. Loneliness quietly increases inflammation and weakens your immune system. That is why friendships, family, and community are essential for health. They are not luxuries. They are part of the foundation that helps your body stay balanced. Simple acts of connection can have powerful effects. Sharing a meal, calling a friend, or spending time with a neighbor can lift your mood and lower stress hormones. Even small moments of kindness change your chemistry. I remember a woman who joined a weekly walking group after losing her husband. She told me that at first she went just to fill time, but over the months she realized the laughter and companionship brought her peace. Her energy improved, and she said she finally started sleeping through the night again. Connection healed her in ways that medicine alone could not. Once you begin to experience how thoughts and relationships shape your biology, it becomes natural to want to take care of your inner world more intentionally. This is where a daily emotional reset can help. The goal is not to ignore problems, but to remind your mind and body that life still contains peace, gratitude, and safety. You can begin with a simple practice. Find a quiet place where you will not be disturbed for a few minutes. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Take slow breaths in and out without forcing them. Feel your body settle with each breath. When you feel a bit calmer, think of one thing you are thankful for. It can be something small, like the taste of your morning tea or the sound of a loved one's voice. Let that thought fill your mind for a few moments. Then, recall a moment when you felt truly alive, perhaps a time you laughed freely or stood somewhere beautiful. Notice how that memory changes how your body feels. Finally, allow yourself to smile, even slightly. A gentle smile tells your brain that you are safe and content. This short practice takes less than 5 minutes, but its effects last much longer. Each time you do it, you help your body lower inflammation, regulate blood pressure, and balance hormones that control mood and energy. Over time, these small moments of calm begin to add up. They retrain your biology to stay in a state of balance more often. You may not always notice the changes right away, but they are happening. When you start feeling more patient, more grateful, or more connected, your biology is shifting too. Your heart rate steadies, your breathing deepens, your immune system becomes more efficient. These are quiet adjustments that happen beneath the surface, slowly guiding your body toward longevity. It is important to understand that a healthy mindset does not mean ignoring sadness or pretending to be happy all the time. It means giving yourself the space to feel everything without letting fear take control. When you can experience life fully without pushing away difficult emotions, your body learns to process stress instead of storing it. This is what true balance feels like. Aging with grace begins with the relationship you have with yourself. The words you speak to yourself each day become the environment your body lives in. When those words are gentle, your body thrives. When they are harsh, your body reacts as though it is under attack. Every kind thought you offer yourself is a step toward healing. Over time, this way of living becomes natural. You begin to notice beauty in ordinary moments. You feel stronger, not because life becomes easier, but because you've learned to move through it with calm and purpose. Your mind becomes an ally to your body instead of its critic. That partnership is what creates the real foundation of longevity. You don't need to change everything overnight. Begin with one practice that brings you peace. It might be your evening breath, your morning gratitude, or your afternoon walk with a friend. The important thing is consistency. Your body remembers what you repeat. The more often you practice calm, connection, and gratitude, the more those habits become part of who you are. When people think about aging well, they often focus on food, supplements, or exercise, and those are important, but none of them work as deeply as the state of your mind. The way you think determines how your body organizes itself each day. When you choose thoughts that nurture peace and purpose, you are already rewriting your biology. The longevity mindset is not a destination you reach. It is a way of living that honors both your mind and your body. It begins with one clear decision: to treat your inner world as carefully as you treat your outer one. Every time you make that choice, you are telling your body to stay alive, engaged, and open to life. Remember that your body and mind are not separate. They are partners in the same story. The more harmony you create between them, the more you allow your natural vitality to rise again. And it will, because your biology is designed for renewal. What your body needs most is the quiet confidence that it can trust you to take care of it, one thought and one day at a time.
Chapter 3: Eating for a Younger Body by Dr. Jonathan Hale. I have met hundreds of people over the years who believed that getting older automatically meant feeling tired, gaining weight, and losing strength. Most of them thought that once you pass a certain age, your body's decline is something you simply have to accept. Yet, every so often, I meet someone who breaks that pattern completely. They are in their 60s, sometimes 70s, yet their energy feels decades younger. They move easily, think clearly, and radiate a kind of calm vitality that others immediately notice. The difference, more often than not, begins with what they eat and how they treat their body at the table each day. I remember two patients from early in my career. Both were in their early 60s. They had similar medical backgrounds, similar family histories, and even shared a love for travel and good food. The first, Margaret, enjoyed cooking colorful meals with vegetables, fish, and olive oil. She wasn't obsessive about food, but she understood balance. The second, James, had built his diet around convenience. His meals were quick, processed, and often eaten in front of the television. When we checked their biological markers after a few years, the results told a clear story. Margaret's blood pressure and inflammation levels had dropped, and her muscle mass had remained strong. James, on the other hand, struggled with fatigue and poor sleep, and his biological age measured almost 10 years older than his chronological one. What these two people taught me, and what science has confirmed again and again, is that food is not just fuel, it is communication. Every bite you take sends a message to your body. Some foods tell your cells to repair and rejuvenate. Others tell them to store fat, build inflammation, and slow down. The human body is always listening, and what you eat every day becomes the language it responds to. Your body does not simply use food for energy, it also reads it. This process is part of what scientists call nutrigenomics, which is just a technical term for how nutrients talk to your genes. To keep it simple, imagine your genes as the blueprint of a house. The food you eat decides which rooms are lit up and which ones stay dark. When you eat foods rich in antioxidants, vitamins, and healthy fats, it's as though you've turned on the repair lights in every corner of the house. On the other hand, when your meals are full of sugar, refined oils, and processed ingredients, the lights dim, and some areas start to wear down faster. That's why, when I tell people that eating well can slow aging, I'm not talking about miracle diets or strict rules. I'm talking about learning to speak to your body in a way it understands.
Food is a biological language, and when you use it wisely, your body begins to act younger from the inside out. One of the simplest ways to see this in your daily life is through what I call the longevity plate. You don't need a chart or fancy calculator to understand it. Just picture a plate in front of you. Half of it should be filled with colorful vegetables. Think of spinach, broccoli, carrots, tomatoes, and bell peppers. The more colors, the better, because each color group carries different protective compounds that help fight off damage inside your cells. The next quarter of your plate belongs to protein. This can be fish, beans, lentils, eggs, or lean poultry. Protein gives your body the raw materials to repair tissues and maintain strong muscles, which are critical for aging well. The final quarter of the plate is for healthy fats and slow carbohydrates foods, like olive oil, avocados, nuts, quinoa, or sweet potatoes. These are the types of energy sources that keep your metabolism steady instead of swinging between spikes and crashes. When people adopt this simple pattern, they often notice changes faster than they expect. Energy levels rise, digestion improves, and sleep becomes deeper. These shifts happen because a balanced diet doesn't just feed your stomach, it calms your internal chemistry. You reduce inflammation, which is one of the main causes of accelerated aging, and you support your mitochondria, the little power plants in your cells that create energy. When your mitochondria are healthy, you feel it in your muscles, your focus, and even your mood. What makes the longevity plate special is its flexibility. You can adapt it to almost any culture or preference. A Mediterranean-style meal, an Asian stir-fry, or a simple home-cooked stew can all fit within it. What matters most is that the food looks and feels alive. The goal is not perfection, but consistency. When most of your meals follow this structure, your body's internal systems start aligning with a rhythm that supports long-term youthfulness. To understand why this works so well, we need to look a bit deeper into how certain foods affect the chemistry of aging. Think of your cells as small engines. When you eat foods high in antioxidants and phytonutrients, compounds found naturally in plants, these tiny engines run more smoothly. They produce energy efficiently and cleanly. But when your meals are loaded with refined oils or sugars, it's like running those engines on dirty fuel. Over time, that dirt builds up as oxidative stress, a form of wear and tear that gradually damages your DNA and tissues. The wonderful thing is that the reverse is also true. Just as bad fuel can wear the engine down, clean, balanced fuel can restore its performance. Foods rich in polyphenols, such as olive oil and berries, help neutralize damage before it causes trouble. Omega-3 fatty acids from fish or flax seeds improve cell membrane strength, which helps your organs work more smoothly. Fiber from fruits, vegetables, and legumes feeds the good bacteria in your gut, which in turn boosts your immune system and lowers inflammation. Every one of these choices is like tuning a part of your engine back to its original efficiency. Some of the best foods for supporting this internal balance are simple and affordable. Berries, for instance, are small but powerful. Their deep colors come from compounds that protect your DNA from everyday damage. Leafy greens are another quiet hero. They contain minerals that help your blood flow easily and your cells communicate better. Olive oil is full of healthy fats that protect the outer layer of your cells, while avocados provide a similar kind of shield against stress inside the body. Green tea contains compounds that help activate longevity-related pathways, gently telling your body to repair itself more often. Fatty fish, such as salmon or sardines, provide omega-3s that keep inflammation low and support the brain. You can also add spices like turmeric, garlic, and ginger, which have been used for centuries to promote health. Science now shows that these ingredients contain natural anti-inflammatory chemicals that calm the body's stress responses. Beans and lentils are excellent for steady energy and a healthy gut, while a small amount of dark chocolate or coffee can offer beneficial antioxidants when consumed thoughtfully. Fermented foods like yogurt or kefir nurture the friendly bacteria in your digestive system that play a surprising role in mood, energy, and immune strength. When I explain this to my patients, they often ask me if it is too late to make a difference. My answer is always no. Your body is remarkably responsive. Within days of changing your eating habits, your blood sugar levels can stabilize. Within weeks, your energy improves. Within months, your skin, hair, and muscle tone often show signs of renewal. These are the first signs that your biological clock is slowing down, and in some cases, even reversing. The connection between food and age is not abstract or distant. It is direct. What you eat today influences how you will feel next week, next month, and next year. Every meal is a quiet opportunity to send a positive signal to your cells, encouraging them to repair instead of decline. It may seem simple, but that simplicity is what makes it powerful. You don't need a perfect diet or rare ingredients. You only need awareness, patience, and the willingness to choose foods that support life rather than stress it. As we continue, I want you to think about your next meal as more than a habit. Think of it as a moment of conversation between you and your body. Your body listens closely. When you feed it foods that speak the language of health, it responds with strength, energy, and resilience. This is how you begin to eat not just for today, but for a longer, younger tomorrow. When I explain how food affects the body, people often nod in agreement until we start talking about what happens when we eat too much sugar or processed food. This is usually where it gets uncomfortable because many of us have emotional ties to food.
It reminds us of family dinners, comfort after long days, or moments of celebration. But understanding what happens inside the body when we rely on processed meals or sweets is essential if we want to feel young and strong for years to come. Sugar is not harmful in small amounts. The problem starts when it becomes the center of our diet. Inside your body, sugar binds to proteins and forms substances called advanced glycation end products. You don't need to remember the name, but you should know what they do. These compounds act like tiny bits of rust. They make the tissues in your body stiff and less flexible. Over time, they affect your skin, joints, and even blood vessels. You might not notice it immediately, but this slow damage builds year after year. It is one of the main ways our cells lose their vitality. When you eat too much sugar, your body also releases more insulin. Insulin is a hormone that helps move sugar from your blood into your cells for energy. If this happens too often, your cells start ignoring those signals. This condition is called insulin resistance, and it makes your body store more fat while reducing energy production. You might feel sleepy after meals or experience energy crashes in the afternoon. That is your metabolism slowing down, not because of age, but because your body is struggling to manage the constant flood of sugar. Processed foods make this problem worse. Many packaged snacks, sauces, and ready-to-eat meals contain hidden sugars, poor quality oils, and preservatives. These ingredients confuse your body's natural rhythm. Instead of clear signals to build or repair, the body gets mixed messages. Inflammation rises quietly, making it harder to sleep, harder to think clearly, and harder to recover after exercise. The irony is that these foods are often marketed as convenient solutions, but over time, they cost you your vitality. One of the simplest ways to begin reversing this pattern is to give your body space to rest between meals. This is where the idea of a metabolic reset becomes powerful. The body was never meant to eat constantly. It thrives on cycles of nourishment and rest. When you allow time between dinner and breakfast, even just 12 to 14 hours, you give your cells a chance to clean up and repair themselves. Scientists call this process autophagy, which means self-cleaning. You do not need to remember the word itself, only the idea. During these hours without food, your body uses the time to remove damaged parts and recycle materials for new, healthier cells. The results of this simple practice can be surprising. People who begin finishing dinner earlier often notice better sleep, lighter mornings, and steadier energy throughout the day. Their hunger patterns adjust naturally. The body becomes more flexible, able to burn fat and sugar efficiently instead of depending on one fuel source. This flexibility is a hallmark of youth.
It helps protect the heart, balance hormones, and keep energy steady from morning to night. You do not have to follow a strict fasting plan to benefit from this process. You can start by simply delaying breakfast for an hour or eating dinner a little earlier. The goal is not to create discomfort, but to restore the body's natural rhythm. When you eat, eat with focus and enjoyment. When you rest, let your body truly rest. This small adjustment alone can reduce inflammation, improve focus, and support a stronger immune system. Another key element of resetting your biology is choosing whole foods over processed ones whenever possible. Real food is easy for the body to recognize. It understands what to do with a fresh apple or a piece of fish. But when food is altered heavily in factories, the body has to work harder to make sense of it. Each artificial flavor, preservative, or refined oil adds confusion to your internal signals. The more real your food is, the easier it is for your body to maintain stability. This idea forms the foundation of what I call the 7-day longevity meal plan. It is not a diet, but a gentle rhythm you can follow to help your body return to balance. Imagine beginning each day with something that supports both your energy and your cells. It could be a bowl of oatmeal topped with berries and a handful of nuts, or scrambled eggs with spinach and a slice of whole grain toast. Lunch can be a mix of colors and textures, grilled salmon or beans on a bed of greens, with olive oil and lemon. Dinner could be roasted vegetables with lentils or chicken with herbs and a side of sweet potato. Snacks should be small, nourishing, and satisfying, perhaps yogurt, a few almonds, or a square of dark chocolate. The purpose of these meals is not only to nourish, but to teach your body consistency. Your cells love predictability. When you feed them well, at steady intervals, they work efficiently and communicate clearly. If you keep this rhythm for just a week, most people notice more stable energy, clearer skin, and even lighter moods. I often suggest that older readers approach this plan with flexibility. You can adapt it to your needs and preferences. If you are not hungry in the morning, start your first meal later. If you enjoy a cup of coffee, have it without sugar or heavy cream. The point is not to remove pleasure, but to guide it. You can still enjoy your favorite foods, just let them fit within a structure that supports your body's long-term health. What matters most is consistency. Even small improvements done regularly create powerful results over time. Every day you eat more vegetables, drink more water, and reduce processed foods, you strengthen your body's ability to repair. Every night you give your body space to rest, you encourage renewal. These choices may seem simple, but they form the foundation of longevity. I want you to remember that your body is always paying attention. It listens to every message you send through your meals, your sleep, and your thoughts. Food is one of the clearest voices you have. Each time you sit down to eat, you can choose to send a message of healing or one of harm. When you choose balance, color, and variety, you tell your body to stay young and alert. You do not need to chase perfection or count calories. Instead, focus on the feeling of nourishment. Enjoy your meals without guilt, chew slowly, and notice how your body responds. Over time, eating this way becomes natural, not forced. You begin to crave the foods that make you feel alive. Your energy rises, your digestion smooths, and your sleep deepens. These are the signs that your internal clock is running in harmony with your choices. As you continue to apply these principles, you will begin to feel the quiet confidence that comes from being in control of your own health. Your body will reward you with strength, focus, and vitality that others will see and feel. Every meal becomes an act of self-respect, a reminder that aging gracefully is not about luck, but about the daily decisions that keep your body young. Food is more than a source of comfort or tradition. It is a lifelong conversation between you and your cells. Each bite, each meal, is a sentence in that dialogue. When you learn to speak clearly through your choices, your body answers with gratitude, in the form of renewed strength, smoother movement, and longer-lasting energy. That is the true essence of eating for longevity, a quiet, continuous partnership between what you love to eat and how you wish to live. Chapter 4. Rest, Repair, and Recharge by Dr. Jonathan Hale. Many years ago, a patient named Evelyn came to see me because she felt constantly tired. She was 62 and had been eating what most would call a balanced diet. She exercised moderately and slept fairly well, but she still felt heavy, both in her body and her thoughts. When I reviewed her blood tests, there was no sign of disease, yet something seemed out of rhythm. Instead of adjusting her diet or medications, I asked her about her eating schedule. She laughed a little and said she didn't really have one. She would snack late at night, eat breakfast early, and sip sweetened tea throughout the day. Her body was always working, never resting. I suggested a simple experiment. For 2 weeks, she would finish dinner by 7 p.m. and not eat again until 7 a.m. the next day. She could drink water, tea, or black coffee during that time, but nothing with calories. It was not a diet, just a gentle pause between meals. When she returned, she said something remarkable had happened. Her energy had lifted, her sleep had deepened, and she felt clear-headed in the mornings. She looked lighter and happier, not just physically, but mentally.
What Evelyn experienced was her body's natural repair system waking up. This is the foundation of fasting. It is not about starvation or discipline. It is about rest. When we give our digestive system a break, the body begins to redirect its focus inward, from taking in to cleaning up. Every living organism has cycles of activity and recovery, and humans are no different. The problem is that our modern way of living rarely allows that recovery. We eat from morning until late night, keeping our systems constantly busy. Fasting simply reintroduces the pause that our biology has always needed. Inside your body, fasting triggers a sequence of events that have been shaped over millions of years. When the stomach is empty, insulin levels fall, which tells the body to switch from storing energy to using what it already has. The body begins to draw from stored fat for fuel, a process that is clean and efficient compared to constant glucose burning. During this time, your cells start a process known as autophagy. That word sounds complex, but it simply means self-cleaning. Imagine your body as a workshop. Over time, broken tools and leftover materials pile up. Autophagy is like the workshop's sweeping day, when the old and damaged parts are cleared away so new ones can take their place. This process helps prevent the buildup of cellular waste that contributes to aging and disease. While this is happening, your mitochondria, the tiny structures inside each cell that create energy, also get a chance to recover. They function better when they are not overwhelmed by constant digestion. This is why many people notice mental clarity during fasting. The brain runs more smoothly on a steady, clean fuel source. Inflammation in the body starts to quiet down, and hormones that manage appetite and repair, such as growth hormone, begin to rebalance naturally. Many people are surprised by how normal fasting can feel once they start. Hunger does appear at first, but it usually passes within a short time. What feels like hunger is often the body adjusting its habits, not a true lack of nourishment. Most people discover that what they thought was hunger was often just routine or boredom. Once this phase passes, energy becomes steady and calm. There are many ways to practice fasting, and not every approach suits everyone. The simplest form is time-restricted eating. It involves choosing a window of time each day for eating and allowing the rest of the hours for fasting. For example, someone might eat between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m., creating a 14-hour fasting period overnight. Others prefer a 12-hour window at first, which is very manageable for beginners. Even this mild adjustment can make a difference in energy, digestion, and mood. Some people experiment with the 16-8 method, where they fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window. This might look like having the first meal at 10 a.m. and finishing dinner by 6 p.m. For older adults, a shorter window such as 13 or 14 hours is often better, since the goal is not to challenge the body but to give it space to restore itself.
Fasting is most effective when it feels natural and sustainable, not forced or stressful. Another variation is the 5-2 pattern. In this method, you eat normally for 5 days a week and choose 2 days to eat lighter meals, around 500 to 600 calories. These are not complete fasts, but rather low-intake days that still allow the body to shift into repair mode. Some people find that this rhythm works well with their social lives and family routines. What matters most is that it fits comfortably within your lifestyle. For those who prefer not to skip meals completely, there is also what researchers call a fasting mimicking diet. It involves eating small, plant-based meals over several consecutive days that are low in calories but rich in nutrients. This allows your body to experience many of the benefits of fasting without feeling deprived. It is a good option for older readers or those with medical conditions that make longer fasts difficult. What unites all these approaches is the idea of rest. Fasting works because it allows your body to reset its systems in a safe and natural way. When you are constantly eating, insulin remains high, inflammation persists, and repair mechanisms stay dormant. When you pause, insulin drops, inflammation cools, and repair genes switch on. You are not fighting your biology, you are cooperating with it. People often ask me how they will know if fasting is working for them. The signs are simple and easy to recognize. Within a few days, digestion begins to feel lighter. Meals feel more satisfying because hunger hormones are more balanced. Energy levels even out through the day instead of spiking and dropping. After a few weeks, sleep often improves, and many notice that their mind feels clearer. These are signals that the body's natural rhythm has been restored. It is important to begin gently. The goal is not to endure hunger, but to build trust between you and your body. If you find yourself feeling dizzy or overly tired, it means your body needs more time to adapt. You can shorten your fasting window and increase it later. Fasting is flexible, and the best approach is always the one that feels calm and consistent. When starting out, drink water regularly throughout the fasting period. Staying hydrated supports the kidneys and helps flush out the byproducts of cellular cleanup. Herbal tea is also helpful, and a small amount of black coffee can support focus if tolerated well. Avoid drinks with sugar or milk during the fasting hours, as even small calories can interrupt the repair process. The first few mornings might feel unusual, especially if you are used to eating early. But this sensation fades as your body learns to draw energy from stored fat. This ability, known as metabolic flexibility, is a hallmark of youth. It allows your body to switch smoothly between using sugar and fat for energy. With age, this flexibility often weakens, but fasting gently restores it. It is one of the main reasons fasting supports longevity. As your metabolism resets, you may also notice emotional shifts. Many people describe a feeling of lightness and mental clarity. This happens because the brain is running on ketones, a clean-burning fuel made from fat. Ketones provide steady energy to brain cells and reduce inflammation, which can improve mood and focus. I have guided many patients through this process, and the most successful ones approach it with patience. They treat fasting as a practice rather than a rule. Some days, life will interrupt your schedule, and that is perfectly fine. Missing a fasting window or eating earlier than planned is not a failure. What matters is consistency over time. When fasting becomes part of your natural rhythm, it stops feeling like an effort and starts feeling like balance. If you keep your meals wholesome and your fasting hours regular, you will begin to feel your body respond. The heaviness after meals lightens. Morning energy becomes steadier. You will sleep more deeply and your thoughts will clear. These are not miracles, they are signs that your biology is working as it should. The body has always known how to heal itself. We simply need to give it the time and space to do so. Fasting is one of the simplest ways to help your body remember what it was designed to do: rest, repair, and renew. It teaches your system to work with precision again, to respond instead of react. It reminds you that eating is only one half of the story of nourishment. The other half lies in the quiet hours when you are not eating, when your body is doing its deepest work in silence. When people first begin fasting, they often worry that skipping meals might be harmful. This concern is understandable. We have spent most of our lives being told to eat 3 full meals a day with snacks in between to stay healthy. For some people, that pattern works well, but for many, it creates constant digestion and very little time for the body to rest. What fasting teaches us is that health also depends on pause. Still, it is important to know that fasting is not for everyone and that it should always be approached with care. I have seen situations where fasting is not the right choice. People with diabetes, especially those on medication, need professional guidance because fasting can affect blood sugar levels. Those with a history of eating disorders should avoid fasting entirely, as it can trigger unhealthy habits or emotional distress. Pregnant or breastfeeding women should not fast because their bodies require steady nourishment for both mother and child. People taking medications that must be eaten with food should always consult their doctor first. Even for those who are healthy, fasting should never feel like strain.
It should feel like balance. When the body starts to signal strong discomfort, weakness, or lightheadedness, it means you are pushing beyond what is helpful. Fasting is not a test of willpower. It is a partnership between awareness and biology. If you listen to your body, it will guide you toward the right rhythm. For most people, the simplest and safest way to begin is by setting a 12-hour window without food each day. It could be as easy as finishing dinner by 7 p.m. and having breakfast at 7 a.m. This small change alone can give your body enough time to repair cells, stabilize hormones, and restore energy. After a week or two, if you feel comfortable, you can extend it to 13 or 14 hours. You can stop there or continue experimenting with what feels natural. Some find that 14 hours of fasting and 10 hours of eating works beautifully. Others prefer a shorter break. The exact timing does not matter as much as consistency and comfort. Water should always be your companion during fasting. Most sensations of hunger early in the process are actually thirst. A glass of water often calms them. Herbal teas can also help, especially those like chamomile, ginger, or green tea. They are gentle on the stomach and can support relaxation or focus. Black coffee is also acceptable for many people, as long as it is without sugar or cream. The goal is to keep your fasting hours free of calories while allowing natural fluids that support hydration. It is also helpful to pay attention to when you eat, not just how long you fast. Our bodies follow a natural rhythm known as the circadian rhythm. It is the internal clock that tells us when to sleep, wake, and digest. Eating late at night confuses this rhythm. When food arrives just before sleep, your body must focus on digestion instead of restoration. Over time, this habit can interfere with hormone balance and increase fatigue. By eating earlier and finishing your last meal 2 to 3 hours before bedtime, you align your food intake with your body's natural clock. This small shift can improve sleep, digestion, and overall energy. One of my patients, Robert, once told me that changing when he ate was easier than changing what he ate. He began having breakfast later in the morning, around 9 a.m., and finished dinner by 6 p.m. He didn't alter his meals at first, but after 2 weeks, he noticed that his morning brain fog disappeared. He described feeling more alert and calm during the day. Encouraged by the results, he naturally started choosing lighter, fresher meals. This is what I call the body's quiet cooperation. When you give it time to find balance, it guides you toward better choices without force or guilt. When fasting becomes part of your life, the short-term benefits often appear first. Most people notice lighter digestion within a week or 2. The feeling of heaviness after meals fades, and meals begin to leave you energized instead of tired. Within a few weeks, focus improves. The reason is simple. When your blood sugar stays stable, your brain receives a steady supply of energy instead of highs and lows.
You no longer experience that mid-afternoon slump that many mistake for aging. Another early change is sleep quality. Fasting supports natural hormone rhythms that regulate rest. Many people report falling asleep faster and waking up with more energy. This happens because fasting improves the production of melatonin, the hormone that signals nighttime rest. It also reduces inflammation in the brain, which can interfere with deep sleep. Better rest means better repair, and that alone can make a person feel years younger. The skin often benefits too. During fasting, the body uses stored energy to repair tissues, including the skin. Many readers will notice clearer, brighter skin after a few weeks. This is not magic, but biology. When the body clears old, damaged cells through the process of autophagy, it makes room for healthier ones. This renewal is what gives the skin a smoother, refreshed look. Some people find that fasting helps them reconnect with a sense of calm they had forgotten. Constant eating, especially when driven by stress, keeps the nervous system active. Fasting provides quiet for the body and mind. It encourages a slower pace. You begin to understand the difference between true hunger and emotional craving. That awareness can change how you relate to food entirely. You no longer eat simply to fill time or soothe stress. You eat because it nourishes you. Still, fasting is most successful when paired with kindness toward yourself. There will be days when you feel hungrier than usual or when social events interrupt your schedule. That is normal. Missing a fasting window or eating outside your usual hours does not erase your progress. What matters is returning to the rhythm the next day without guilt. This is how balance becomes sustainable. Once fasting begins to feel natural, you can adapt it to your life permanently. You might decide to fast for 12 hours most days, a bit longer on others, or occasionally take a full day off. Over time, it becomes less of a practice and more of a pattern that supports your well-being. You begin to notice that you are less bloated, more alert, and emotionally steadier. Your digestion feels smoother, and your body seems to work with you rather than against you. What I have seen again and again is that fasting teaches patience. It reminds us that not every solution requires addition. Sometimes, removing constant input allows the body to do what it was designed to do. Every major system in the body benefits from this rest: the brain, the heart, the liver, and even the immune system. Each one uses the quiet hours to restore balance. That is the essence of fasting, the power of pause. It is also important to remember that fasting is not about perfection or performance. You are not competing with anyone. You are learning to trust your body's rhythm. When you respect that rhythm, health follows naturally. There will be moments of hunger, but there will also be moments of unexpected lightness, as if a fog has lifted from your body. That is your biology coming back into order. As you continue, you may notice that fasting begins to affect more than your physical state. It can improve your relationship with time itself. Meals become more meaningful. Eating no longer feels rushed. The gaps between meals give you space to reflect, to breathe, and to reset your energy. This rhythm of nourishment and rest mirrors the rhythm of life: work and recovery, activity and sleep, effort and stillness. When you fast gently and consistently, your body responds with gratitude. Energy becomes smoother, thinking becomes clearer, and aging feels slower. You begin to sense that the years ahead do not have to mean decline. They can mean renewal, as long as you keep giving your body moments to rest. The pause you create with fasting is not emptiness, it is space for repair. It is the quiet in which your body rewrites its own rhythm of youth.
Chapter 5. The Movement Code. Motion is Youth by Dr. Grace Adler. Helen was 70 when I met her. She had just moved into a small neighborhood near the coast, a quiet place filled with sea air and open spaces for walking. She told me she had spent most of her 60s sitting, first caring for her late husband, then reading for hours, and finally watching television because it filled the silence. One morning, her neighbor invited her to join a walking group. She almost said no, thinking her knees were too stiff and her body too slow, but something in her said yes. That small decision changed everything. Within weeks, she began to feel lighter, more awake. The fog that had lingered in her mind began to lift. Her posture improved, her energy grew, and her laughter returned. Helen told me later that she did not expect to get younger, but that is exactly how she felt. Her secret was simple. She moved again. Movement is life's quiet reminder that the body still works beautifully when we give it the chance. It is not about chasing fitness goals or sculpting muscles. It is about sending the body the message that it is still needed, still useful, still part of a vibrant world. Every time you move, you tell your body, "Keep going, I'm still here." When we think of aging, we often picture decline, a slow loss of flexibility, balance, and energy. But much of that decline comes not from time passing, but from stillness. The human body was designed to move. Inside our muscles and bones, every part of us responds to motion. Movement tells our cells to stay active, our joints to stay lubricated, and our brain to stay alert. When we stop moving, those signals grow weaker. The body begins to interpret stillness as a sign of disuse. Our muscles are not just for strength. They are living organs that communicate with the rest of the body. When you move, your muscles release special proteins that travel through your bloodstream. Scientists call them myokines, but you can think of them as messenger molecules. They help repair cells, balance hormones, and reduce inflammation, which is one of the biggest accelerators of aging. This means that a simple walk or stretch does far more than keep you flexible. It activates a healing system that touches nearly every part of your body. Movement also keeps your heart and blood vessels strong. Each step, each stretch helps your heart deliver oxygen more efficiently to your brain and muscles. Over time, this improves memory, focus, and emotional stability. The rhythm of your heartbeat, paired with gentle breathing, becomes a quiet form of inner exercise that keeps your system young. Another hidden benefit of movement is how it trains your cells to use energy better. Inside your cells are tiny structures called mitochondria. They are your body's energy factories. When you move, these mitochondria become more efficient at creating energy. When you don't, they weaken, leading to fatigue and slower recovery. Think of movement as a way of charging your internal battery each day. You don't need long workouts to activate this process. Even a few minutes of regular motion can wake up the body's natural vitality. A short morning stretch, a walk around the block, or a few squats while making tea. These small acts send powerful biological signals. The key is not intensity, but consistency. Movement also shapes how we feel about ourselves. Many people believe that aging is only a physical process, but it is just as much emotional. The less we move, the smaller our world becomes. We begin to avoid stairs, skip outings, and sit instead of stroll. Without realizing it, our world shrinks. Moving more expands it again. Each time you take a step, you reclaim a bit of that lost freedom. One of the most touching things I hear from people who start moving again is how quickly their confidence returns. They stand taller, they make eye contact again. Their minds feel clearer. This is because movement changes brain chemistry almost instantly. When you move, your brain releases endorphins, natural chemicals that create a sense of ease and well-being. These same chemicals reduce pain perception and lower stress. I remember an older man named Victor who began gentle movement after years of back pain. He started by walking for 5 minutes each morning, holding the railing for support. After a month, he no longer needed the railing. After 3 months, he was walking half an hour every day. He told me the best part was not the strength he gained, but the way his mind felt more stable. "I'm not afraid of falling anymore," he said. "I feel balanced again." That is what movement really gives us, the feeling of being capable. It reintroduces trust between the body and the mind. When you move regularly, you stop seeing your body as something fragile and start seeing it as an ally. Each stretch, each step, is a quiet agreement between you and yourselves that you are still living fully. You might have heard that exercise must be hard to work, but that idea is misleading. The best kind of movement for longevity is not punishment, it is gentle consistency. Imagine your body as a garden. What matters most is that it gets daily sunlight and water, not that it faces storms. Movement nourishes, the same way frequent, steady care keeps it thriving. Walking, gardening, dancing, stretching, swimming, cleaning, or even standing more often, these are all forms of meaningful movement. Every time you choose to move, you are renewing your body. There is no single perfect way. The perfect movement is the one you enjoy enough to repeat tomorrow. Strength, balance, and flexibility are the three quiet pillars of staying young. You don't need to memorize them, only to live them. When you carry groceries or lift your child, that's strength. When you reach for something high or tie your shoes, that's flexibility. When you walk across uneven ground or climb stairs, that's balance. Everyday life already gives you opportunities to stay youthful. As you move, notice how your breathing deepens and your posture shifts. These changes may seem small, but they affect how your organs function and how your mood feels. Movement brings oxygen to every part of you, sweeping away tiredness and replacing it with alertness. When people ask me what the best movement for aging well is, I always tell them the same thing: the one you will actually do. A walk after breakfast, a dance in your kitchen, or a few minutes of gentle stretching before bed. All of these signal to your body that it is still needed. And the body loves to be needed. The truth is, youth does not vanish with time. It fades with stillness. But the good news is that stillness is reversible. Even if you have spent years sitting too much, your body is not broken. It is waiting. The first step is the invitation. The next step is yours. The best part about movement is how it changes how you think. It lifts your mood, clears your thoughts, and improves your sleep. It even helps digestion and metabolism. When you move regularly, your body feels more alive, but so does your spirit. Helen's story is a reminder that you don't have to go backward in age to feel younger. You only have to move forward, literally. Every step, every stretch, every small action counts. The body has an extraordinary ability to respond when given even the smallest encouragement. It was built for this. It remembers. It always remembers. Movement is not a chore or an item to check off a list. It is a relationship between you and your body that deepens with every step, stretch, and reach. The moment you start to move, even slightly, you begin to feel a conversation happening within you. Your body responds with warmth, balance, and rhythm. It listens when you guide it gently. And the beautiful thing about this conversation is that it never expires. No matter your age or history, your body is still listening. Many people think of exercise as something that belongs to athletes or young people. They picture gyms filled with equipment, strict routines, and heavy effort. But movement for longevity looks very different. It is not about pushing limits. It is about inviting the body to function the way it was designed to. It is more like a friendship than a competition. The goal is not to exhaust yourself, but to awaken yourself. When we talk about movement, it helps to imagine it as a daily language. Every movement you make is a message. When you sit for hours, your body hears silence. When you stand, stretch, or walk, your body hears, "I am here and I still need you." The body responds to that message with renewal. Muscles receive better blood flow, joints release stiffness, and your brain feels more alert. You begin to notice that tasks that once felt heavy start to feel lighter again. For many older adults, the hardest part is not the movement itself, but the first step toward it. There is often fear hidden beneath stillness, fear of pain, of falling, or of looking out of place. Those fears are understandable, but they fade as soon as the body begins to move again. The human body is far more resilient than most people realize. It does not punish you for past stillness. It welcomes the chance to move again. When I guide people who have not moved much in years, I start with something simple, a 10-minute routine. 10 minutes might sound small, but it is long enough to reset your system. I often call it the 10-minute rewind. It is a short daily rhythm that helps the body remember how to move naturally and easily. It begins with slow breathing. Sit or stand where you are and take a deep breath through your nose. Let your shoulders drop as you breathe out. Do this for a minute or two. Breathing is movement too. It activates your core muscles and gently wakes up your diaphragm. Then, while breathing steadily, lift your arms to the sides and roll your shoulders back. These small actions loosen the tension that builds from sitting. Next, stretch your spine. If you can, stand up and slowly reach your hands toward the ceiling. Feel the stretch along your back. You are not trying to force flexibility. You are reminding your body of its shape. Bend slightly to each side, then return to center. After this, move your arms in circles, as if drawing gentle patterns in the air. Now, focus on your legs. Hold on to a chair or wall for balance, and slowly lift one leg at a time. Move your ankles in circles. This simple movement strengthens stabilizing muscles that prevent falls and improve circulation. Finish by walking slowly around your space for 5 minutes. If you have more energy, take your walk outside and let natural light touch your skin. This helps your internal clock stay balanced and supports healthy sleep. These few minutes of motion may not look intense, but inside your body, remarkable things are happening. Your blood sugar levels begin to stabilize. Your brain releases mood-boosting chemicals. Your digestion becomes smoother. The nervous system, which may have been tense from stillness or stress, starts to calm. You are not only moving your body, you are giving your organs a fresh rhythm to follow. Over time, you can expand this practice to fit your comfort. You might add light resistance exercises with your body weight, like wall push-ups or chair squats. These build strength gently and improve bone density, which helps protect against age-related weakness. If you enjoy music, turn it on while moving. Dancing, even for a few minutes, stimulates coordination, balance, and joy all at once. The more enjoyable your movement feels, the more likely you are to continue. That is why it is helpful to link movement with pleasure instead of duty. Go for a walk with a friend, stretch while listening to your favorite song, water your garden, or play with your grandchildren. These moments count just as much as any structured workout. What matters most is that you keep your body in motion daily, even in the smallest ways. Movement also plays a quiet role in emotional well-being. It is one of the most natural ways to release stress. When you move, your body processes tension that words cannot. That is why many people find that a walk helps them think more clearly, or that stretching before bed makes it easier to sleep. Your body carries emotions in your muscles. Movement helps those emotions pass through rather than settle. In recent years, research has confirmed what many of us have felt for a long time. People who move regularly tend to live longer and feel happier. But the most encouraging discovery is that even starting later in life still offers major benefits. Studies on older adults who began gentle activity in their 70s showed improvements in energy, mental clarity, and resilience within just weeks. The body does not forget how to heal. It simply waits for your signal to begin. It is also important to rest when needed. Movement is powerful, but recovery completes the process. When you allow yourself time to breathe, stretch lightly, and sleep well, your body repairs the small tears and strains that movement creates. That is how strength grows, not through constant effort, but through balance between motion and rest. I once worked with a woman named Rosa who had chronic fatigue. She believed her energy would never return. Instead of giving her a long workout plan, we started with standing up every hour and taking 5 deep breaths. After 2 weeks, she was walking for 10 minutes a day. After 2 months, she was hiking with her grandchildren. She told me she felt alive again, not because of any special exercise, but because she started listening to her body's rhythm. That is the essence of movement for longevity. It is not about athletic achievement or competition. It is about restoring the body's natural rhythm, the one that slows down only because modern life asks us to sit too much. Movement reminds the body what it was always capable of. Every time you move, you are sending a clear message. Life is still happening. Your cells respond, your heart responds, your mind follows. The process of aging doesn't stop, but it becomes softer, easier, and more graceful. You begin to notice more lightness in your step, more confidence in your balance, and more calm in your breath. You don't have to think of movement as exercise. Think of it as care. It is the same kind of care you give to a plant by watering it, or to a friend by showing up. When you care for your body through motion, you are telling yourself that you still matter. And that simple act, repeated daily, does something that no medicine can do. It keeps you connected to your own vitality. Start small. Start where you are. The first 10 minutes will lead to more. Your body does not expect perfection. It only asks that you move with intention and kindness. The reward for that kindness is life that feels lighter, stronger, and more present. Movement will not erase the years, but it will fill them with the kind of energy that makes you forget to count them. Chapter 6. Sleep Away the Years by Dr. Grace Adler. There is something magical about the quiet of the night when everything slows down. The world becomes softer, and your body starts to ask for what it truly needs. Many people ignore that gentle call. They stay awake, scrolling through their phones, replaying conversations, or worrying about tomorrow. They treat sleep as something they must squeeze in rather than something sacred. But sleep is not time wasted. It is the body's most powerful tool for renewal, and it works silently, like an unseen gardener tending to every corner of your being. When you were young, sleep came easily. You would close your eyes, drift off, and wake up with a clear head and light heart. Somewhere along the way, that changed. The years added responsibilities, worries, and aches that made Big West harder to find. Many older adults tell me that they sleep less as they age, believing it to be normal. What they don't realize is that their bodies still crave the same deep rest they once had. The only difference is that modern life has created too much noise for their inner rhythm to be heard. Your body follows a natural rhythm known as the circadian cycle. It is like an internal clock that tells you when to be alert and when to rest. In perfect balance, this rhythm aligns with daylight and darkness, allowing hormones to rise and fall in harmony. When you wake with the sun, your body releases cortisol, which gives you energy and alertness. As the evening comes, your body produces melatonin, a hormone that signals rest. But when we stay up under bright lights, watch late-night news, or eat too close to bedtime, this cycle becomes confused. The result is shallow sleep that leaves us feeling older, duller, and more easily fatigued. Sleep is not simply the absence of being awake. It is a deeply active process. While you rest, your brain and body are busy repairing, restoring, and organizing. Think of it as a maintenance team that only works the night shift. your brain clears out waste products through a process known as the glymphatic system. This system acts like a gentle rinse, washing away toxins that build up during the day. Without enough sleep, that cleaning process remains unfinished, which can lead to foggy thinking, memory lapses, and a feeling of heaviness in the mind. The rest of your body also uses this quiet time to restore itself. During deep sleep, growth hormone levels rise. This hormone is responsible for repairing tissues, supporting muscle strength, and maintaining skin elasticity. It is one of the body's most powerful natural anti-aging agents. Poor sleep reduces its production, which can make the skin look dull, slow down healing, and drain your energy. Many people spend money on creams and supplements to feel younger, but nothing matches the healing power of consistent, restorative sleep. Sleep also helps balance the hormones that regulate hunger, stress, and blood sugar. When you sleep poorly, your body produces more cortisol, the stress hormone, that keeps your system on high alert. Cortisol is useful in small doses, but when it stays high for too long, it increases inflammation and makes you feel restless and anxious. Poor sleep also interferes with insulin, the hormone that helps control your blood sugar. This can lead to cravings for sweet or starchy foods, which only worsen fatigue and aging. Sleep, therefore, is not just for energy. It is a pillar of metabolism, mood, and longevity. I often remind readers and clients that aging is not caused only by time passing, but by how well your body repairs itself each night. The better your rest, the more efficient that repair becomes. When sleep is disrupted or shortened, the body has less time to rebuild cells, balance hormones, and remove damage. Over time, this creates small changes that add up. Wrinkles appear faster, weight becomes harder to manage, and thinking feels slower. The good news is that these effects are not permanent. Just as sleep loss accelerates aging, sleep recovery reverses it. A week of quality rest can begin to restore balance to your system. I once worked with a retired teacher named Helen who had not slept through the night in years. She would go to bed exhausted, but wake up at 2 in the morning, unable to fall back asleep. She tried medication, herbal teas, and endless podcasts promising relaxation. Nothing worked. When we began our sessions, we focused on the basics: reducing caffeine after noon, turning off the television an hour before bed, and keeping her bedroom dark and slightly cool. Within 10 days, she noticed that her sleep felt deeper. After 3 weeks, she began to wake up without her alarm. Her face looked brighter, her energy steadier. She said she felt as though she had found years hiding in her bed. What Helen experienced is something many underestimate. Sleep is not fragile, it is responsive. When you give your body the right cues, it knows exactly what to do. Those cues include consistency, calm, and comfort. The brain associates bedtime habits with sleep. If your nightly routine includes excitement or anxiety, your body will prepare to stay awake. But if your evening is filled with quiet and predictable steps, like dimming lights, reading a gentle book, or stretching lightly, your body will recognize the pattern and begin to slow down naturally. One of the most overlooked factors in poor sleep is mental clutter. The mind does not know the difference between danger and distraction. When you lie in bed replaying your day, your body thinks it must stay alert. That is why rest often begins not with the body, but with the breath. Slow breathing signals safety to your nervous system. Try sitting up in bed, closing your eyes, and inhaling slowly through your nose while counting to 4. Hold the breath gently for a moment, then exhale through your mouth for 6 counts. After a few cycles, you will feel your heart rate slow and your muscles release. This simple act of breathing resets the mind far more effectively than any sleep aid. Dreaming is another vital part of the sleep process that deserves attention. During the stage known as rapid eye movement, or REM sleep, the brain organizes emotions and memories. This is why dreams often reflect our daily lives in strange ways. They are not random images, but a natural method of processing feelings that would otherwise remain unexpressed. Without enough REM sleep, we tend to feel more irritable and less adaptable to stress. Many people notice that when they finally get several nights of uninterrupted sleep, they wake with lighter moods and clearer thoughts. That is the emotional repair system at work. The connection between sleep and mood is direct and measurable. When you sleep well, your brain increases serotonin levels, which improve happiness and calm. Poor sleep lowers those levels, making it harder to handle challenges. That is why people who are sleep deprived often feel impatient, anxious, or easily overwhelmed. Rest is the body's way of resetting emotional balance. If you wake up feeling easily agitated, it might not be your personality changing, it might just be your body asking for deeper sleep. As you move into later adulthood, it becomes even more important to protect this nightly cycle. Sleep patterns tend to shift with age because of changes in hormone production and daily habits. Many older adults nap during the day, which can make it harder to sleep at night. Others experience discomfort from medications, aches, or changes in bladder function that interrupt rest. While these challenges are real, they are not irreversible. Gentle adjustments can restore the pattern. Avoid long naps after mid-afternoon, stay active during the day, and keep your evenings calm and screen-free. Even small improvements can make a noticeable difference in how refreshed you feel. Remember, your body does not age uniformly. It adapts to how you treat it. When you allow rest to become a priority again, your internal systems begin to work together as they once did. Cells repair themselves more effectively. Your immune system strengthens. The heart rate lowers during deep sleep, conserving energy and reducing strain. Every system takes a turn in recovery, preparing you for the next day. Sleep is not just the absence of consciousness, it is active rejuvenation. Falling asleep easily is something most people believe should happen naturally, but in today's world, it has become a lost skill. The good news is that it can be relearned. The human body still knows how to rest deeply, it just needs the right signals to remember. Many of us spend our nights trying to force sleep, but the more we chase it, the further it slips away. Sleep comes when the body feels safe and calm, not when the mind is racing to achieve it. Learning how to create that sense of calm is the true beginning of restful nights. The first step is to prepare your body gently for the night instead of crashing into bed after hours of stimulation. The way you end your day determines how your body receives sleep. Imagine sleep as a visitor who only arrives when the house is quiet and the lights are low. 1 hour before bed, begin dimming the lights in your home. Bright light tells the brain it is still daytime, which blocks melatonin, the hormone that signals rest. Replace overhead lights with soft lamps or candles. This simple act gives your body a clear message that the day is winding down. Try to move away from screens during this time. The blue light from phones and televisions tricks the brain into staying alert. If you must look at a screen, lower the brightness and use filters designed to reduce stimulation. But whenever possible, spend your last waking hour away from technology. Instead, listen to gentle music, stretch lightly, or read something calming. These small habits prepare your nervous system to shift from alertness to restoration. Temperature plays a quiet yet powerful role in how deeply you sleep. The body naturally cools down before rest, and keeping your bedroom slightly cool supports this process. Fresh air or a small fan can help. Heavy blankets can make it harder to stay asleep through the night, so choose ones that feel light but comforting. Your bed should feel like a safe place to surrender, not a battle to find comfort. If you have trouble falling asleep, consider the textures around you, the softness of the pillow, the breathability of the sheets, and the quietness of the space. Every detail contributes to how your body responds. Another way to prepare your mind is through gentle rituals. Humans are creatures of rhythm, and bedtime routines anchor the body in predictability. The same sequence repeated nightly, perhaps brushing your teeth, turning down the bed, and taking a few slow breaths, acts as a signal. Over time, your body will begin to associate these actions with rest. You can also create a brief evening gratitude practice. Writing down 3 things you appreciated during the day helps shift attention away from stress and onto calm. Gratitude has been shown to reduce anxiety and ease the transition into sleep. Some people rely on alcohol or sleep medication, believing these to be quick fixes. While they might make you drowsy, they interfere with deep sleep. Alcohol, for instance, suppresses REM sleep, the stage responsible for emotional healing and memory organization. Sleep aids can cause dependency, making it harder for the body to regulate its natural rhythm. The best solution is to build consistency and patience. Your body has an incredible capacity to heal when given a steady routine. There are many myths surrounding sleep that deserve to be cleared up. One of the most common is the belief that older adults need less sleep. In truth, our need for sleep does not decrease with age. What changes is our ability to maintain it. The interruptions may come from discomfort, pain, or changes in hormones, but the body still benefits from 7 to 8 hours of rest each night. Another common myth is that you can catch up on sleep during weekends. Unfortunately, the body does not store rest like a savings account. The benefits come from consistency. Going to bed and waking up at the same time every day helps regulate your internal clock more effectively than sleeping in sporadically. Many people also underestimate how daytime habits influence nighttime rest. Morning sunlight exposure helps reset your internal rhythm. Try stepping outside within an hour of waking up, even for 10 minutes. Natural light tells your body that the day has begun, setting the stage for melatonin to rise again at night. Moderate physical activity, even simple walks, helps improve sleep quality. The key is to stay active enough during the day to create a healthy sense of tiredness when night falls. Your emotional state plays a quiet but decisive role in how deeply you sleep. Loneliness, stress, and unresolved tension can keep the body in a state of alertness. Emotional rest is as important as physical rest. Create moments of connection in your evenings, a call with a loved one, quiet conversation, or a few minutes of reflection. Humans sleep better when they feel safe and connected. If you live alone, even soft background sounds like peaceful music or recorded nature sounds can create a sense of comfort. The mind relaxes when it senses peace in the environment. I once met a man named Arthur who had spent years waking up every night around 3 in the morning. He believed it was just part of aging. After talking for a while, it became clear that his evenings were filled with late news programs and constant worry about world events. His mind never had the chance to slow down. We began replacing that time with a short relaxation routine. He listened to classical music and practiced slow breathing before bed. Within weeks, he was sleeping through the night again. When I asked how he felt, he smiled and said, "I didn't know calm could feel this young." To help your body relearn this calm, you can mentally check a few gentle cues each night. Is the room dark enough? Are the sounds around you soft and steady? Have you avoided caffeine since midday? Is your last meal light and finished at least 2 hours before bed? These questions act as reminders of how to care for your nighttime self. They are not rules to worry about, but small acts of kindness that give your body permission to rest. If you wake up during the night, avoid reaching for your phone or turning on bright lights. Instead, breathe slowly and let your thoughts pass like clouds. You can focus on small sensations, like the rhythm of your breath or the feeling of the blanket. This keeps your mind anchored in the present instead of spiraling into frustration. Often, the body will drift back into rest naturally once it senses that it is safe to do so. Morning is the final part of this healing cycle. How you wake influences how well you sleep the next night. Try to wake up at the same time each day and let in sunlight as soon as possible. Light suppresses melatonin and helps your body feel alert. Drink a glass of water before coffee to rehydrate and signal the body that it is time to start the day. Gentle stretching or walking sets your rhythm for the next cycle. Every morning is another chance to prepare for deeper rest later that evening. Over time, the results of better sleep begin to show not only in how you feel, but in how you look and move. Your skin appears fresher, your mood steadier, and your thoughts clearer. The small aches and stiffness you once accepted as normal begin to fade. You start waking up with a quiet energy that lasts through the day. That is what happens when your body is given the full opportunity to repair itself. I often remind readers that improving sleep is not about perfection. There will be nights when rest is interrupted or when thoughts refuse to quiet down. That is normal. What matters is the pattern you build over time. Each night of quality sleep restores the balance a little more. The more patient you are with your body, the faster it learns to trust the rhythm you are creating. Sleep is a relationship between your body and your environment. It asks for consistency, kindness, and care. When you nurture that relationship, you begin to notice how it touches every other part of your life. Meals digest better, the heart feels lighter, and the mind grows quieter. Sleep is not a retreat from life, but a preparation for it. The more deeply you rest, the more fully you can live. So tonight, instead of viewing sleep as the end of your day, see it as the beginning of your body's renewal. Turn down the lights, breathe deeply, and let your thoughts soften. You are not doing nothing, you are allowing every part of you to heal. The years do not define how rested you can feel. Each night offers a chance to begin again, and that is the quiet miracle of sleep.
Chapter 7, Using Safe Stress to Grow Younger, by Dr. Jonathan Hale. Most people think of stress as the enemy. The word itself often brings to mind worry, tension, or exhaustion. But your body tells a different story. Inside you, stress is not always harmful. In fact, certain kinds of stress act as signals that remind your system how to repair and strengthen itself. The challenge lies in understanding which kind of stress helps you grow younger and which kind wears you down. This chapter is about learning that difference and using it wisely. There is a scientific term for this kind of beneficial stress, hormesis. The word might sound technical, but the idea behind it is simple. Hormesis describes what happens when your body responds to a small challenge by becoming stronger. Think of it as training for your cells. Just as your muscles grow when you lift a manageable weight, your cells adapt when they face mild stress. They repair themselves, clear out waste, and come back more efficient than before. The trick is in the balance. Too little challenge and the system becomes weak. Too much and it breaks down. But when the challenge is small and brief, it sparks growth. The world we live in today has made it easy to avoid nearly every form of natural stress. We stay warm in the cold, cool in the heat, and comfortable for most of the day. We sit more than we move, eat often, and rarely let the body go without stimulation. While comfort feels pleasant, it quietly takes away something essential, the body's instinct to adapt. Your body was designed to react, to face changes and respond to them. When that response is never triggered, the systems that protect you from aging become slow and unmotivated. Hormesis works as a reminder to those systems, telling them to wake up and do what they were made to do. Inside every cell, there are tiny engines called mitochondria. They produce the energy that keeps you alive. These mitochondria are sensitive to how you live. When life is too easy for the body, the mitochondria become lazy and inefficient. When the body faces mild stress, such as cold, fasting, or brief heat, the mitochondria are pushed to adapt. They multiply, clear away damaged parts, and become stronger. This process is one reason people who regularly experience healthy forms of stress often feel more energetic and mentally sharp. Their cells are literally better at making energy. Another important process that hormetic stress activates is called autophagy. You can think of this as the body's internal cleanup service. Every day, cells gather small amounts of waste from metabolism. If that waste builds up, it begins to interfere with cell function. During autophagy, the body breaks down and recycles those damaged parts, replacing them with healthy new ones. Without it, the old material stays behind, slowing down the renewal process that keeps tissues young. Mild stress tells the body to begin this cleanup. It is the same process triggered by fasting or physical movement. Hormetic stress also improves your antioxidant system, the natural defense your body uses to fight damage. Normally, we rely on food or supplements to get antioxidants, but the most effective ones are the ones your body produces itself. When you face small amounts of stress, the body increases production of these internal protectors. This natural defense keeps inflammation low and protects your DNA from harm. That is one of the most powerful ways to slow biological aging from the inside out. To understand how this works in real life, imagine someone who has lived many years in consistent comfort. They wake up to a perfectly climate-controlled home, move only between their car and the next indoor space, and rarely feel hunger or physical strain. Their body has not had a reason to activate its resilience systems. Over time, energy levels fall, recovery slows, and health feels fragile. Now imagine that same person slowly reintroducing small challenges. They take short walks in cool morning air, skip breakfast once or twice a week, or spend 10 minutes in a warm bath that makes their heart rate rise slightly. These small efforts are enough to send a message. The body must adapt again. Within weeks, they begin to notice steadier energy and better mood. That is hormesis at work. Science has identified several ways to safely activate hormesis. The most studied are cold exposure, heat exposure, natural sunlight, and certain breathing techniques. None of these require special tools or extreme commitment. Each one introduces mild stress that wakes up different systems in the body. Cold exposure helps your body regulate temperature, improve circulation, and activate brown fat, which burns energy to keep you warm. Heat exposure, through saunas or warm baths, triggers the release of heat shock proteins that protect your cells from damage. Sunlight supports vitamin D production and balances your internal clock, while controlled breathing trains your body to handle temporary discomfort calmly. It is important to see these not as trends or experiments, but as practices deeply connected to human history. Our ancestors lived in changing environments. Their bodies faced heat, cold, hunger, and movement daily. That natural variation trained the human body to stay adaptable. What we call biohacking today is in truth a return to what was once normal. These mild challenges kept the body tuned for survival. Now, in an age where most discomfort can be avoided, we must recreate small moments of challenge to regain what comfort has taken away. Many people worry that they are too old or fragile to begin such practices. I understand that fear. The word stress itself carries warning. But hormesis is not about harsh treatment. It is about control. A few seconds of cold water at the end of a shower, a brief sit in the sun, or 5 minutes of steady, deep breathing can begin to train your body's response again. The goal is not to shock the system, but to remind it. Every time you face a gentle challenge, your cells learn to repair faster, your circulation improves, and your mood lifts. There is also a psychological benefit to this practice. Facing small, controlled stress builds confidence. Each time you step into a mild discomfort and come out feeling stronger, your brain records it as success. That success builds emotional resilience. You start realizing that your limits are not as fixed as they seemed. The process that strengthens your body also strengthens your mind. People who practice mild hormetic stress often describe feeling more capable in daily life. They handle real challenges like unexpected changes or emotional strain with more calm. I once met a patient named Robert who began experimenting with gentle cold exposure in his late 60s. He started with splashing cold water on his face each morning, then progressed to short, cool showers. At first, he said it felt unpleasant, but within a few days he noticed something unusual. He felt awake, clear, and alert in a way he had not felt in years. After several weeks, he described a deeper sense of calm. His skin looked more alive, and he said his sleep improved.
Nothing else in his routine changed. He simply reintroduced a natural stress his body had been missing. The reason this worked for Robert and can work for anyone lies in how the body is built. Every system inside you, from your heart to your immune response, thrives on feedback. Without regular feedback from small stress, systems grow dull. Controlled stress keeps those systems alert. It tells your body that it still needs to perform at its best. That is what keeps you young, not by erasing years, but by making the years you live more efficient and full. Hormesis also brings awareness to recovery. Each time you introduce small stress, your body activates repair. This is why balance is key. If you overdo these practices, your body will not have enough time to restore itself. True resilience comes from alternating challenge with rest. Think of it like exercise. Lifting a weight helps the muscle grow, but it is during rest that the muscle rebuilds. The same principle applies to every form of hormetic stress. Before we move to the practical side, I want to emphasize a core idea. Growing stronger through stress is not about testing limits, it is about learning how your body communicates. When you face discomfort, your body sends signals. It tells you when to ease off and when you can continue. Listening to those signals is the most important part of this process. You are not fighting your body, you are working with it. The process of building resilience begins with patience. Hormetic stress is most effective when introduced slowly and consistently. Your body responds best when the challenge feels manageable, not overwhelming. Too much stress, even when meant to help, can tire your system and undo the benefits.
The goal is to teach your body how to adapt again without fear or strain. When done with care, each small step becomes a message to yourselves that renewal is possible at any age. The easiest way to begin is through cold exposure. Many people hear about ice baths and assume it must involve shock or extreme discomfort, but it does not need to be that way. The simplest approach is to finish your warm shower with 30 seconds of cool water. Allow the water to flow across your back and shoulders while you breathe slowly. At first, it may feel sharp and surprising, but within seconds, your breathing steadies and your skin tingles. This is your nervous system learning to handle change. That brief cold tells your body to increase circulation and activate brown fat, a special kind of tissue that helps keep you warm and burns energy efficiently. Brown fat is one of the body's natural tools for maintaining healthy metabolism. After a few days, you might extend the cool shower to a full minute or alternate between warm and cool water. Over time, this trains your blood vessels to expand and contract more effectively, improving oxygen delivery throughout your body. Some people notice that their mood improves after this practice. That is because the body releases norepinephrine, a natural chemical that increases alertness and focus. The key is to stay calm during the discomfort. Focus on breathing slowly through your nose and keeping your shoulders relaxed. When you finish, you will likely feel awake, clear, and deeply alive. That is the sensation of your system resetting. For those who prefer warmth over cold, heat exposure offers similar benefits. Spending time in a sauna or even a warm bath raises your core temperature slightly, which triggers a response similar to what happens during moderate exercise. As your body works to cool itself, blood flow increases and your heart rate rises gently. Inside your cells, a group of special proteins known as heat shock proteins become active. These proteins help repair damaged structures and keep cells functioning properly. Research has shown that people who regularly use saunas tend to have better heart health and reduced inflammation. If you do not have access to a sauna, a hot bath can provide comparable effects. Sitting in warm water for 15 to 20 minutes after a long day helps muscles relax and supports circulation. You can add Epsom salt if you wish, which provides magnesium that helps the body release tension. Always hydrate before and after heat exposure, and give yourself time to cool down afterward. The important part is not the intensity of the heat, but the regular rhythm of it. Even 2 or 3 sessions a week can teach your body to manage stress more gracefully. Sunlight is another gentle and powerful form of hormetic stress. When morning light touches your skin and eyes, it tells your brain to wake up fully and start producing energy. This exposure helps regulate your internal clock and encourages the natural release of hormones that keep you alert during the day and sleepy at night. It also stimulates vitamin D production, which is vital for bone strength, immune health, and mood. You do not need to spend hours in the sun. 10 to 20 minutes of natural light early in the day is enough. Step outside, breathe deeply, and let your eyes adjust to daylight without staring directly at the sun. For older adults, this simple routine often improves sleep quality and daytime energy within a week. Breathing itself can also act as a mild form of hormetic stress when practiced intentionally. When you control your breath, you guide your body's stress response. Slow, deliberate breathing increases carbon dioxide slightly, which trains your body to tolerate mild stress and balance oxygen use more efficiently. Try this routine. Inhale gently through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold for 2. Exhale through your mouth for 6, and rest for 2. Repeat this cycle for 5 minutes. The first few breaths might feel unfamiliar, but your body quickly settles into rhythm. This kind of breathing calms the nervous system and reduces feelings of anxiety. It can be done in the morning to prepare for the day or in the evening to unwind before bed. All these forms of good stress, cold, heat, sunlight, and controlled breathing share one principle. They challenge the body just enough to activate repair. But just as important as the challenge itself is what comes after it, recovery. True rejuvenation happens during rest. The body repairs itself between exposures, not during them. This is why you should never force these practices. Listen closely to your body. If you feel overly tired or uneasy afterward, shorten the session or take an extra rest day. Hormetic stress should leave you feeling refreshed and capable, not drained. Pairing these practices with proper nutrition, hydration, and sleep creates a powerful rhythm of balance. The food you eat after mild stress helps replenish your cells, and the water you drink supports your body's natural detox processes. Sleep completes the cycle by locking in the benefits. Together, these form the foundation of resilience, your body's ability to recover quickly from challenges. Resilience is more than physical toughness. It is the capacity to return to balance after change. When your body learns to handle small amounts of stress calmly, your mind follows. You begin to notice that everyday challenges feel less overwhelming. You handle unexpected moments with more patience. This emotional steadiness is part of biological youth. People who practice hormetic habits often describe feeling not only stronger, but also lighter in mood and thought. Their bodies and minds move in harmony again. If you are just beginning, keep your daily routine simple. In the morning, open your window or step outside to let natural light reach your eyes. Take a few deep breaths while feeling the air on your skin. End your shower with a few seconds of cool water. During the day, move your body gently and stay hydrated. In the evening, take a warm bath or practice calm breathing before bed. These small choices create powerful messages to your body. You are training yourselves to adapt again, teaching your heart and brain to stay flexible. Consistency is the quiet secret behind all lasting results. The body responds best to repetition, not extremes. Think of hormetic practices as conversations with your system. Each day you introduce a small challenge, your body replies by growing a little stronger. Over time, these conversations build trust. Your metabolism becomes steadier, your mind clearer, and your energy more stable. I once worked with a man named Thomas who began these practices after years of fatigue and low motivation. He started with breathing exercises, then added cool showers and short walks in the sun. Within a month, he noticed that climbing stairs no longer left him short of breath. He described his mornings as peaceful and alert rather than sluggish. His progress was not sudden. It came from repetition. His body was simply remembering how to function at its best. That is the essence of hormetic living, gradual renewal through small acts. You do not need expensive treatments or harsh routines. What matters is giving your body the right type of attention. Challenge it gently, allow it to rest, and it will reward you with strength. You will begin to notice subtle shifts, warmer hands from improved circulation, clearer thoughts from better oxygen flow, deeper calm in moments of stress. These changes add up quietly, day by day. The power of hormesis lies in how it reconnects you to your natural adaptability. It reminds you that age does not mean fragility, and comfort does not always equal health. Each small challenge is a signal that life is still active within you. The systems that once protected and renewed you are still waiting for your cue. When you give them that cue through gentle exposure to cold, heat, light, or breath, they respond with gratitude. They repair, strengthen, and awaken parts of you that may have been resting for too long. There is a deep comfort in knowing that the ability to grow stronger has never left you. It has only been quiet, waiting to be called upon. With each small act of hormetic stress, you remind your body of what it already knows: how to survive, adapt, and thrive. The reward is not just more years, but more life within those years. Life that feels energetic, alert, and deeply connected to the natural rhythm that keeps you young at heart.
Chapter 8: Dodging Hidden Age Accelerators by Dr. Grace Adler. If we could see the things that quietly age us, many of us would live very differently. Most people imagine aging as something that comes from within: cells breaking down, hormones changing, energy slowing. What often goes unnoticed are the invisible forces around us, working quietly in the background every day. They float in the air we breathe, settle on the skin, mix into the food we eat, and sit on the shelves of our homes. The reality is that modern life, for all its comfort and progress, comes with a constant stream of little insults to the body. And while these things don't cause instant harm, they add up over time. The average person wakes up, brushes their teeth, takes a shower, applies lotion or deodorant, and maybe sprays perfume or aftershave. Within that short window, the body has already interacted with dozens of chemicals, many harmless, some irritating, and a few that quietly interfere with the way our cells repair themselves. The same pattern continues throughout the day: a bit of exhaust from traffic, a quick meal from a plastic container, and an evening spent in a house filled with synthetic scents and residues that slowly build up on every surface. None of this feels dangerous because the effects are invisible, yet the body registers each exposure as work. It has to clean, filter, and repair. When the body spends too much time cleaning instead of restoring, the result is what scientists call oxidative stress. That term might sound complex, but it simply means that the body is dealing with too many unstable molecules that damage healthy ones. Picture it like a house that collects dust faster than it can be swept. Eventually, no matter how good the broom is, things begin to wear down. The skin might lose some of its glow, energy feels a little lower, sleep becomes lighter, and the immune system isn't quite as sharp. These are early signs that the body is spending more time defending itself than rebuilding. Now, before that sounds discouraging, it's important to remember that our bodies were designed with incredible resilience. Inside us, every single day, organs like the liver, kidneys, lungs, and even the skin are filtering and removing waste. These are natural detox systems. They work quietly without praise or recognition, like a cleaning crew that shows up every night after we've gone to bed. The problem is not that they fail, but that modern living can overwhelm them. Think of your liver as a hard-working filter. If the water flowing through it is clean, it can do its job effortlessly. But if that water carries bits of dirt, oil, and plastic, the filter will still function, only it will clog faster and need more care. That is why the idea of detoxing is often misunderstood. Many people think detoxing means fasting or drinking special juices. But true detoxification is about giving the body a break from unnecessary work. It's not about punishment or restriction. It's about reducing what your organs have to handle in the first place. The most effective detox is a lifestyle, not a weekend challenge. When you lighten the load, the body naturally becomes more efficient at cleaning itself. It can spend less time on defense and more time on renewal. Understanding how this works gives you power. You don't need to remove every potential toxin in your life. You only need to focus on the ones that matter most. This is where the 80-20 principle becomes your best friend. About 80% of the benefit you'll see in protecting your body from environmental aging comes from changing about 20% of your habits. It is not about living in fear, but about living more deliberately. You don't need to buy all new products or throw everything away. You only need to make a few key swaps that give your body more space to breathe. Start with the air around you. Most people think outdoor pollution is the biggest problem, but indoor air can be even worse. We trap ourselves inside sealed spaces filled with cleaning sprays, scented candles, and fabric softeners. The simplest fix is free. Open your windows. Let your home breathe at least once a day, even for a few minutes. The difference in how fresh the air feels is immediate, and your lungs will quietly thank you. If you live in a busy city, adding a small air purifier or a few houseplants that naturally clean the air can help balance things out. Next, think about your water. Water is the foundation of every repair process in your body. Yet many people drink from plastic bottles that leach tiny particles into the liquid. These particles are too small to see, but research shows they can interfere with hormones and cell signals. Switching to a glass or stainless steel bottle may seem like a small change, but it reduces a daily source of exposure. If you use tap water, consider a basic filter. It doesn't have to be expensive. Even a simple carbon filter can remove a surprising amount of residue and make your water taste better, which usually means you'll drink more of it. Food is another quiet carrier of what your body has to clean. Highly processed foods often contain additives, preservatives, and artificial colors that the body recognizes as foreign. Over time, they contribute to low-grade inflammation, a kind of background noise inside your cells that speeds up biological aging. Cooking more meals at home and choosing fresh ingredients is one of the easiest ways to protect yourself. You don't have to switch to a perfect diet. Just aim for more whole foods, fewer labels, and colors that come from nature, not from a factory. When you eat this way, your energy feels steadier, your skin clears, and digestion becomes lighter. These small signals tell you that your system is using less effort to process what you eat. Even the products you put on your skin play a role. The skin is not just a surface. It's an active organ that absorbs some of what it touches. Lotions, creams, and shampoos can contain synthetic compounds that linger in the body. You don't have to give up everything you love, but you can begin by checking labels. Fragrance-free or plant-based alternatives are usually gentler. There are many clean options today that smell pleasant without overwhelming the senses. These changes may seem small when you look at them individually, but together they create an environment where the body feels safe again. A body that feels safe starts to repair faster. When you reduce the background noise of constant chemical exposure, energy that was once spent cleaning up can now be redirected to regeneration, to repairing DNA, calming inflammation, and rebuilding collagen. People often describe feeling lighter, clearer, and more alert when they adopt these habits. And that's no coincidence. As you begin to notice these shifts, something else happens too. You start seeing the connection between your environment and your well-being. You realize that aging isn't just what happens inside of you, it's also what happens around you. By making simple choices, you create a space where your body doesn't just survive, it thrives. That sense of control is deeply empowering. It takes aging from being something that happens to you into something you can actively influence. One clean breath, one glass of water, one calm choice at a time. When we talk about longevity, it's easy to think about supplements, advanced technology, or medical interventions. But the truth is, the first line of protection is found in how we live each day. Every time you choose a cleaner meal, a purer breath, or a safer product, you are voting for youth on a cellular level. You are lowering the background stress your body must manage. You are helping your natural detox systems do what they were meant to do: keep you resilient. This isn't about chasing perfection or living in fear of chemicals. It's about giving your body the kind of support that makes it stronger and calmer. In the next part, we'll explore how to extend these small protective choices into a way of living, how to detox your home, your routine, and even your mindset without anxiety or overwhelm. Because the goal isn't to avoid the world, it's to live in it wisely, with the kind of clarity that lets your body focus on what it does best, staying young from the inside out. When people start cleaning up their environments, something interesting happens. They begin to notice small improvements that go far beyond what they expected. The air feels lighter in the house. Their skin looks calmer. Sleep becomes deeper. Focus sharpens. What is really happening is that the body is no longer spending all its energy defending itself. It finally has room to restore. The truth is, this process doesn't need to be perfect to work. It only needs to be consistent. One of the best ways to make clean living sustainable is to focus on the 80-20 principle. This means paying attention to the few choices that bring the biggest results. You could spend a lot of money replacing everything in your home, or you could focus on the 5 or 6 things that have the most impact on your body's internal balance. For example, the water you drink, the air you breathe, the food you eat, the products you use on your skin, and the materials that surround you daily. When you work on these areas first, the improvements you feel often motivate you to keep going. Start by thinking of your home as your body's second skin. It shelters you, influences your mood, and either helps you recharge or drains you without you realizing it. A home filled with chemical cleaners, air fresheners, and synthetic materials keeps the air heavy and the nervous system slightly alert, as if something is always irritating in the background. Creating a cleaner space doesn't require an overnight transformation. It begins with noticing. When you start to see what fills your environment, you naturally begin to choose better options. In the kitchen, you can make an enormous difference by simply switching to glass storage containers and using more fresh ingredients. Food stored in plastic, especially when heated, can release small amounts of plastic particles that end up in the body. Over time, these particles can disrupt hormone balance and stress the liver. By replacing a few plastic containers with glass or stainless steel, you remove a constant source of unnecessary exposure. Cooking with olive oil, avocado oil, or coconut oil instead of processed vegetable oils also lowers inflammation levels in the body. These oils contain natural compounds that protect cells from damage, something highly valuable for longevity. The bedroom is another space that deserves attention because it is where your body does most of its repair work. The quality of your sleep depends not only on your bedtime routine, but also on what surrounds you while you rest. Synthetic air fresheners, heavily scented laundry detergents, and certain flame-retardant fabrics can release vapors through the night that make it harder for the body to fully relax. Replacing these with simple, fragrance-free detergents, natural fabrics, and good airflow can make a noticeable difference. Even the act of washing your bedding regularly in gentle soap helps keep dust and hidden residues under control, which in turn supports better breathing and fewer nighttime disturbances. Bathrooms and personal care products are another quiet contributor to daily toxin exposure. Shampoos, lotions, deodorants, and makeup often contain ingredients that the body must process. When you apply them every day, it adds up. Fortunately, there are many clean alternatives available now that perform just as well, sometimes even better. When choosing personal care products, aim for ones with short ingredient lists and names you can easily recognize. A simple rule is that if you wouldn't feel comfortable putting it in your mouth, it probably doesn't belong on your skin. The living area is often where people spend the most time, yet it's usually the last place they think about when trying to detox their surroundings. Dust, synthetic fabrics, and candles made with chemical fragrances can subtly affect how you breathe and how your body handles oxygen. Instead of trying to remove everything, focus on improvement. Opening windows daily, dusting surfaces, vacuuming with a filter-equipped cleaner, and introducing plants that naturally clean the air are simple yet effective steps. These changes do not just clean your space, they also affect how you feel emotionally. A fresher environment brings calm, and calm supports your body's natural healing rhythm. It is easy, once you start learning about toxins, to become overly cautious or even anxious. The goal is not to live in fear of your environment. The goal is to create a relationship with it that supports your well-being rather than drains it. Some people fall into the trap of trying to control every single detail, and that can create more stress than it relieves. Remember, stress itself can be just as aging as pollution. That is why balance is so important. A balanced approach is built on awareness, not obsession. Once you've made the biggest improvements, the body adapts beautifully. It becomes stronger, better at processing the occasional exposure that is unavoidable. This ability is called resilience. Resilience means your body can handle a little challenge without losing stability. It's the opposite of fragility. Building resilience happens when you provide your body with clean inputs most of the time, good sleep, enough water, and moments of stillness. In this way, protecting yourself from hidden age accelerators becomes less about restriction and more about freedom. You free your body from unnecessary work, you free your mind from constant worry, and you free your time to focus on what truly matters, the simple pleasures of feeling well, thinking clearly, and aging gracefully. To help you start, it can be useful to mentally walk through your day and notice where these small protective habits can fit naturally. When you wake up in the morning, begin by letting fresh air into your room. This single act clears out carbon dioxide and resets your body's sense of rhythm. During the day, drink from a clean glass bottle and eat real food whenever possible. Try to keep meals simple and colorful. At night, dim the lights early and make your bedroom a calm space. Avoid screens just before sleep and let the air be cool and fresh. If you spend most of your day indoors, step outside for a few minutes every hour or two. Sunlight helps the body create vitamin D, which supports immune health and hormone balance. It also improves mood and sleep cycles. In the evening, if you want a scent in your home, choose natural essential oils instead of artificial ones. These may not last as long, but they do not irritate the lungs or skin in the same way. Small steps like these, repeated daily, create an invisible safety net around you. They make your body's repair systems more efficient and your mind more relaxed. The result is not just better health, but a kind of quiet confidence that you are doing right by your body. You begin to trust it again, to feel that your energy matches the care you are giving yourself. That trust becomes the foundation for long-term vitality. At the end of the day, protecting yourself from hidden accelerators of aging is not about living in a bubble. It's about creating an environment that feels kind to you. Every choice, from the air you breathe to the soap you use, is an act of care. And when you live with that awareness, your body responds with gratitude. You feel it in your skin, your sleep, your focus, and the way you move through your day. The protection code, at its heart, is a simple truth. What surrounds you becomes part of you. When you keep your surroundings light, natural, and balanced, your body mirrors that same state inside. You age slower, you feel calmer, and your energy lasts longer. That is not an act of luck or genetics. It is the reward of choosing to live gently in a world that often moves too fast. Every time you choose calm over clutter, clean over convenient, you are teaching your body how to stay young, one mindful decision at a time.
Chapter 9. Supplements and Simple Science That Works by Dr. Jonathan Hale. Over the years, I have sat across from many patients who believed that there must be a pill somewhere that could slow down aging or make them feel young again. They would bring in bottles of supplements they had read about online or seen on television, each one promising vitality, sharper memory, or endless energy. I always smiled because I understood the hope behind their search. The truth, though, is that there is no single capsule that can turn back the clock. But there are nutrients and compounds that, when used wisely, help the body repair, restore, and run more smoothly. That is what we will explore in this chapter. The purpose of supplements is to fill small but important gaps in nutrition and function. They are not meant to replace healthy eating, movement, or sleep. Instead, they give the body what it sometimes struggles to get on its own as the years pass. As we age, our ability to absorb nutrients from food changes. The stomach produces less acid, the intestines work a little slower, and the body's natural repair systems take more time to complete their tasks. Supplements, when chosen carefully, act like quiet assistants that keep things running in order behind the scenes. One of the biggest mistakes people make is thinking that more supplements automatically mean better results. The body does not work that way. It is far more delicate. It thrives on balance. Each vitamin, mineral, or compound plays a specific role, and too much of one can interfere with another. That is why this chapter focuses only on what truly supports longevity, using science as our guide and simplicity as our method. You do not need dozens of bottles lined up on your kitchen counter. What you need are a few smart helpers that strengthen your foundation and help your cells work efficiently. Let's begin with the basics, the nutrients that every person needs to support the body's natural repair process. These are the essentials that fuel your metabolism, protect your organs, and keep your mind alert. When I say metabolism, I am not talking about just burning calories. I am referring to the millions of chemical reactions happening in your body every minute. Your heart beating, your cells cleaning waste, your nerves carrying messages. All these depend on certain vitamins and minerals. Vitamin D is one of the most powerful yet overlooked helpers for longevity. It behaves more like a hormone than a vitamin, influencing the immune system, mood, and even bone and muscle health. With age, the skin's ability to produce vitamin D from sunlight decreases, and this can lead to fatigue, muscle weakness, or low mood. Most older adults I have tested are low in vitamin D, even when they spend time outdoors. The reason is that as the skin thins, it produces less of it. This is why a daily supplement can make a noticeable difference. The right amount varies depending on where you live and your level of sunlight exposure, but it's often the simplest fix with one of the biggest payoffs. Next comes omega-3 fatty acids, which you can think of as the body's internal lubricant. Found mainly in fish oil or plant sources like flaxseed, these fatty acids help the heart, brain, and joints stay flexible and reduce inflammation. Inflammation is the body's natural defense system, but when it stays on for too long, it begins to damage cells. Chronic inflammation has been linked to aging in almost every part of the body. Omega-3s calm that internal fire. People who add them to their diet often notice that their skin looks smoother, their joints ache less, and their mental clarity improves. It's a simple yet powerful way to help your body feel younger from within. Another crucial helper is magnesium, often called the calming mineral. It participates in over 300 different reactions in the body, from helping your heart maintain rhythm to relaxing your muscles after activity. It also supports better sleep, which we already know is one of the strongest natural repair mechanisms. Many adults are low in magnesium because it gets used up during stress and modern diets rarely provide enough of it. Foods like nuts, leafy greens, and whole grains help,
but a small supplement before bed can work wonders. Some people notice deeper sleep, less tension in their body, and better morning energy after just a week or two. We cannot talk about aging and energy without mentioning vitamin B12. This vitamin supports nerve health and helps make red blood cells that carry oxygen throughout the body. It's essential for mental focus and energy. Unfortunately, it's one of the vitamins that becomes harder to absorb with age because it relies on stomach acid for activation. That is why even people who eat well can become deficient without realizing it. Fatigue, memory fog, or tingling in the hands and feet are often early signs. A supplement in liquid or chewable form bypasses the digestive step and helps restore balance gently. When these foundational nutrients are in place, the body begins to function more smoothly. Energy becomes steadier, sleep improves, and you recover from small daily stresses faster. You might not notice dramatic overnight changes, but you'll feel a sense of balance returning. Your body will begin to whisper that it's being supported again. Once the basics are covered, we can turn to more advanced helpers, supplements that work on the cellular level to support the body's inner machinery. Think of your cells as small factories that produce energy, repair damage, and remove waste. Over time, those factories lose efficiency. They still function, but not as quickly or as cleanly. The result is what scientists call cellular aging. The exciting part is that we now understand how certain compounds can help those factories run better again. One of the most researched of these compounds is NAD+, short for nicotinamide adenine dinucleotide. You don't need to remember the name, but you should know what it does. NAD+ is a molecule that exists in every cell of your body. It's like the spark that keeps your engines running. It helps cells repair DNA, convert food into energy, and maintain their internal order. As we age, NAD levels decline, which leads to slower repair and lower energy. Scientists have found that certain supplements, such as NMN or NR, can support the body's ability to make more NAD+. When that happens, people often report clearer thinking, more vitality, and better endurance. The goal is not to take high doses or chase youth, but to restore the body's natural rhythm of renewal. Resveratrol is another interesting helper, found in the skin of red grapes and berries. It works by supporting a group of proteins in the body known as sirtuins, which are linked to longevity and stress resistance. In simple terms, resveratrol helps cells defend themselves from harm. You can get small amounts from red wine or berries, but supplements provide more consistent levels without the added sugar or alcohol. It doesn't create miracles, but when paired with a healthy diet, it supports long-term vitality. Then there's coenzyme Q10, often shortened to CoQ10. This is a natural compound your body already makes, but like NAD+, it declines with age. CoQ10 is responsible for creating energy inside your cells, especially in the heart and muscles. It's like a spark plug that keeps your system running smoothly. When levels drop, you may feel fatigued or notice that exercise becomes harder than it used to be. Taking CoQ10 can help restore that missing spark, improving stamina and even supporting heart health. All of these supplements work best when they are introduced gradually and with purpose. The key is not to rush or overload your system, it's to nourish it. Supplements should be added only after the basics, food, sleep, hydration, and movement are in place. They build on the foundation you have already laid with your daily habits. When used wisely, they make the difference between simply aging and aging well.
Chapter 10. The 30-Day Rewind Plan by Grace Adler. When people decide to take charge of their health, The most common question that follows is, where do I start? After reading through the ideas and science of longevity, it is natural to want something practical, something you can hold in your hands and begin today. That is what this chapter offers, a simple 4-week plan to bring everything together. The purpose is not perfection. It is about creating momentum. The next 30 days will not transform your life overnight, but they will set the rhythm that keeps you feeling young, strong, and deeply connected to your own vitality. The key to this plan is kindness. You are not here to discipline your body. You are here to listen to it. Change that lasts always begins with awareness. Over the next month, you will slowly reconnect with how you eat, move, rest, and think. These are small steps that add up to something greater. Each day will be a chance to choose a little more care for yourself. Even if some days are imperfect, what matters is that you keep going. Before beginning, remember this: health is not a race. You cannot fail a day of living well. Some days will feel easy and others heavy. Your only task is to return each time with patience. Imagine this plan not as a checklist, but as a gentle guide, a way to help your body and mind remember what balance feels like. As you begin week 1, your focus will be on 2 things: mindset and meals. These are the foundations that support every other part of longevity. How you think shapes how your body responds, and what you feed your cells determines how well they repair. When these 2 come together, something shifts. Energy begins to stabilize. The mind quiets. You start to feel present in your own skin again. The first few mornings might still feel slow. That is normal. You are teaching your body a new rhythm. When you wake up, take a deep breath and drink a full glass of water before anything else. It is a small act, but it signals your body that you are beginning a fresh day. It helps your cells hydrate and reminds your mind that this is your space for renewal. After that, take a moment to pause. This is not meditation in the strict sense. It is simply being awake to yourself. You might close your eyes for 30 seconds and notice the air moving in and out of your lungs. You might whisper to yourself one simple phrase: "Today, I will care for myself." That sentence may sound small, but intention sets direction. Then comes breakfast. In this plan, the focus is not on restriction, but nourishment. The longevity plate, as Dr. Hale describes it, is simple to imagine. Half of your plate should be filled with colorful plants, vegetables, fruits, or leafy greens. 1/4 is for protein, like eggs, beans, or fish, and the last quarter is for healthy fats, such as olive oil, avocado, or nuts. If you keep this image in your mind, you do not need to count or measure. It naturally balances your nutrients and helps your body manage inflammation, which is one of the main reasons people feel older than they are. During this week, you will also notice how food affects your energy and mood. The goal is not to follow strict diets or trends. It is to understand your own rhythm. Some people feel clear and light after a vegetable-filled lunch. Others notice they need more protein to stay alert. Pay attention to how you feel 2 hours after a meal. That is the best feedback your body can give you. The first week is also about softening the relationship with food. Many people carry guilt or pressure around eating. You do not have to label food as good or bad. The real question is, does this support how I want to feel? Food can be a friend when you approach it with curiosity instead of judgment. I often suggest ending each evening with a small reflection. Ask yourself, what went well today? Did I move, rest, or eat in a way that supported me? Even if the answer is no, there is no failure here. There is only learning. Awareness itself creates progress. By the end of the first week, you might begin to notice changes. Your mornings may feel calmer, your cravings may lessen, or your energy might become more stable. Some people describe this as feeling more clear. What you are experiencing is your body responding to consistency. The cells begin to adjust to regular hydration, balanced meals, and lower stress signals. Now, as you move into week 2, the focus expands to include movement and rest. These two are partners in longevity. Movement strengthens while rest repairs. You cannot have one without the other. Think of movement as a message to your body that you are still alive and ready to grow. Think of rest as the space where that growth happens. The most important truth about movement is that it does not have to be extreme to be effective. Many people believe they need long, intense workouts to stay healthy. But longevity is built on regular motion, not exhaustion. The body thrives when it moves often and gently. Start simple. Each morning, take a 10-minute walk outside or near a window with sunlight. Walking activates blood flow, improves metabolism, and signals your brain to release endorphins, the natural chemicals that lift mood. If walking outdoors is not possible, walk indoors, stretch slowly, or even sway your arms gently for a few minutes. The goal is to move energy through your body. You might add small strength movements, such as sitting and standing from a chair several times, lifting light objects, or practicing balance by standing on one foot while brushing your teeth. These may sound trivial, but small movements protect against the natural muscle loss that occurs with age. They help maintain coordination, which in turn protects independence. Movement also prepares you for better rest. When you move your body, you improve circulation, digestion, and oxygen flow. These processes help your body relax more easily when it is time to sleep. That is why movement and rest are discussed together. They sustain each other. As evening comes, begin to create your rest environment. Avoid bright screens for at least half an hour before bed. Soft lighting helps your brain release melatonin, a hormone that signals that it is time to sleep. You might also choose a small ritual that tells your body the day is ending, perhaps stretching, writing down something you are grateful for, or simply sitting in quiet. Good sleep is not only about hours, but also about quality. During deep sleep, your brain clears waste products, your cells repair, and your hormones rebalance. Poor sleep interrupts these processes and accelerates aging. But when you rest well, the opposite happens. Your body slows biological aging and restores vitality. In week 2, focus on feeling rather than performance. Notice how movement affects your emotions. Notice how rest affects your clarity. Pay attention to how your body speaks to you through signals of comfort, tension, or ease. This is how you learn your natural rhythm. You may find that you sleep more deeply when you have walked during the day, or that your mind feels calmer when you turn off your phone before bed. These are clues that you are aligning your daily rhythm with your body's natural cycle. The more you listen, the more your body trusts you. I often tell my readers that consistency builds confidence. When you realize you can follow through with small actions, you begin to see yourself differently. You are no longer someone trying to be healthy. You become someone who lives that way. This quiet shift in identity is what makes longevity a lifestyle instead of a task. At this stage, you are not trying to master everything. You are learning what fits your life and what brings you ease. These early weeks are about building trust with your body, and trust takes time. There will be days when motivation dips or energy wavers, but remember that rhythm is stronger than mood. The rhythm you are creating will begin to carry you naturally forward. By the end of the second week, your foundation will be strong enough for deeper renewal. Your mind will be calmer, your meals more balanced, and your rest more restorative. You are now ready for the next phase, where your body learns to restore itself more deeply through fasting and recharging. But before that, take a moment to recognize how far you have already come. You have begun the process of returning to your natural state of energy and ease. That is the heart of the 30-day rewind, to remind your body and mind what it feels like to live in harmony. By the time you reach week 3, you have already laid the foundation for renewal. You are eating in a way that supports yourselves, moving with care, and resting more deeply. Now the focus turns to fasting and recharging. These two practices help your body clean up old cells, reset its energy systems, and build strength from the inside out. Fasting does not mean deprivation. It means allowing your body a pause from digestion so it can focus on repair. The process that happens during this pause is called autophagy, which means self-cleaning. When your body is not constantly digesting, it takes the opportunity to recycle old or damaged cells. This gentle cleaning process keeps your system young and efficient. In this week, you are not required to follow strict fasting windows. Instead, start with simple time awareness. Choose a 12-hour overnight window where you do not eat. For example, if you finish dinner at 7 p.m., have your breakfast at 7 a.m. This approach gives your body a rest each night while still feeling natural. If that feels comfortable after a few days, you can slowly increase it to 13 or 14 hours. The purpose is to feel refreshed, not restricted. During your fasting window, stay hydrated with water or herbal tea. These small adjustments help your metabolism rebalance and make your energy steadier throughout the day. Many people notice that morning fatigue lessens and mental clarity improves when they allow this nightly pause. Along with fasting comes recharging. Your body responds to small, positive stresses with renewal. This is what scientists call hormesis, but you can think of it as safe challenge. When you gently challenge your body, it adapts by becoming stronger and more resilient. Examples include taking a brisk walk in cool air, ending your shower with a few seconds of cold water, or spending a few minutes in sunlight each morning. These simple exposures train your cells to adapt more efficiently to changes in the environment. Cold and heat exposure can improve circulation, strengthen immunity, and reduce inflammation. However, the key word is gentle. You do not need to jump into ice baths or saunas. Start with small steps that feel manageable. Over time, these micro-stresses help your body regain its natural flexibility and resilience. Breathing exercises also play a role in recharging. Deep breathing calms your nervous system and increases oxygen delivery to your tissues. You can try a simple rhythm. Inhale for 4 counts, hold for 2, and exhale for 6. Practicing this for even 5 minutes each day can lower stress hormones and improve focus. It is a quiet but powerful way to reset. The most beautiful part of week 3 is how it connects the physical and emotional. Fasting helps your cells let go of what is no longer needed, while breathing and mindful exposure teach your body to trust stress instead of fearing it. It mirrors the natural rhythm of life itself, effort followed by release. As you enter week 4, everything you have practiced begins to come together. This final week focuses on protecting and maintaining what you have built. It is about living the principles you have learned in a way that feels natural and lasting. The first step in protection is awareness. You have already learned how toxins from the environment and processed foods can quietly speed up aging. Now it is about reducing exposure in simple, practical ways. You can begin by replacing plastic water bottles with glass or stainless steel, using natural cleaning products, and keeping your living space well ventilated. These actions may seem small, but over time, they reduce the burden your body carries. Food also plays a protective role. Continue eating whole, colorful meals. Limit foods that come in boxes or have long ingredient lists you cannot pronounce. Your body recognizes natural foods as allies. When it does not have to process artificial additives, it can focus on renewal. Protection also includes your emotional environment. Notice how you feel around certain people, places, or habits. Stress does not only come from physical sources. It also arises from constant noise, comparison, or pressure. Part of the longevity journey is choosing peace over perfection. When you create space for calm, your body thrives. Maintenance is the next step. Think of it as tuning your instrument. Once you have built rhythm and balance, you only need gentle adjustments to keep it harmonious. Check in with yourself each week. Are you resting well? Are you moving daily? Are your meals still filled with variety? These questions keep your focus on consistency without becoming rigid. During this last week, many readers describe feeling lighter. It is not just about weight, but the sense that life flows more smoothly. You might find that you wake up before the alarm or that you laugh more easily. These are signs that your nervous system is relaxed and your energy systems are stable. It is also a good time to reflect on your progress. Look back at the first week, when everything felt new. You might have felt uncertain or tired. Now you are moving with intention and ease. You have learned to listen to your body. You have created small habits that support your energy and peace of mind. These are major victories, even if they don't show up in a mirror. To help maintain this momentum, I suggest ending each day with a simple check-in. Ask yourself 3 questions. Did I nourish my body today? Did I move with intention? Did I allow myself to rest? If the answer is yes to even one, you are already succeeding. Longevity is built on accumulation, not perfection. Each choice adds up quietly, like drops filling a well. As the 30 days come to an end, take time to celebrate. Not with grand gestures, but with gratitude. You might write a note to yourself acknowledging the effort you have given. It is important to recognize that consistency itself is an achievement. You have taken control of your own biological story, one mindful day at a time. Some people at this point ask, what happens after 30 days? The answer is simple. You keep living this rhythm. The plan was never meant to be a temporary reset. It was designed to remind you how good your body can feel when cared for. Now, these practices become your lifestyle. You may not follow every detail each day, but the awareness remains. If you miss a morning walk or forget a healthy meal, there's no need to start over. You are already on the path. The goal is not to maintain every habit perfectly, but to carry forward the spirit of attention and care that began this journey. The longer you live this way, the more natural it becomes. As the days turn into months, you will notice deeper changes. Your energy will stay stable throughout the day. Your sleep will remain restorative. Your relationships may grow warmer as your patience and clarity deepen. You will begin to see that longevity is not just about adding years, but about expanding life within each moment. The 30-day rewind is not the end of your transformation. It is the doorway to the rest of your life. You now know how to listen to your body, how to rest your mind, and how to nourish your cells with intention. You have built the foundation of a longer, more vibrant future. Chapter 11, Staying Young for Life, by Dr. Grace Adler. There is a calm that comes after change. It is the quiet space where effort settles into ease, where lessons start to breathe on their own. The 30-day rewind plan may have felt like an intentional challenge, something you had to think about each day. But now that effort begins to find its rhythm. You are no longer following a program. You are building a way of life. Longevity is not about perfection or control. It is about rhythm. Rhythm means movement that flows rather than struggles. It means letting your actions follow the natural tempo of your days. The healthiest people are not those who do everything right all the time, but those who return to their balance quickly when life shifts. Longevity thrives when you understand that your health is not a project with a finish line, but a living relationship with your body, mind, and time. Every code you have learned so far, how you eat, move, rest, and think, fits into this rhythm. You don't have to remember them as separate instructions. They belong together, like parts of a song. When your meals nourish you instead of drain you, your energy improves. When you sleep deeply, your mood steadies. When you move with freedom, your body thanks you with strength. These simple connections are the language of longevity. Many people believe staying young is about resisting time, but that belief often brings tension. Time is not the enemy. It is the rhythm that guides every living thing. What matters is how gently and intentionally you move with it. That is the essence of the longevity lifestyle, living in harmony with time rather than struggling against it. You have already seen how small adjustments make a difference. When you eat foods that speak clearly to your cells, your energy shifts. When you allow your body to rest, your mind follows. These experiences are proof that your biology is responsive. Your cells listen. They adapt. The body is not static. It is designed to renew, and that renewal continues as long as you give it rhythm and care. This is why the idea of rhythm is so central to lifelong vitality. Imagine your day as a wave. There are moments for energy and moments for calm. When you eat, move, and rest in a way that aligns with that natural wave, your body stops fighting itself. It begins to repair in harmony with your habits. The best part is that you do not have to think about it all the time. Once rhythm takes hold, it becomes effortless. Your longevity rhythm may look different from someone else's. That is how it should be. Some people feel their best walking in the morning, while others find their clarity after dinner strolls. Some prefer shorter meals through the day, others thrive on long breaks between eating. What matters is not the rule, but the response. Pay attention to how your body feels. It speaks in signals: energy, calmness, lightness, hunger, satisfaction. Those signals are your truest guide. At this stage, the goal is not more information, but deeper awareness. You already know enough. Now it is time to live what you know with ease. A sustainable longevity lifestyle is built on curiosity, not rigidity. The question is never, did I do it right, but how do I feel now? That gentle shift in thinking keeps the process alive. One of the most valuable habits you can carry forward is awareness without pressure. It is useful to track your energy, sleep, and focus, but only as a way to understand yourself better. Some people like to write a few notes at night, a short reflection on how they felt through the day. Did they have steady energy? Did they sleep well the night before? Was there tension or calm? Over time, these small notes reveal patterns that are more meaningful than numbers on a scale. In this kind of journaling, the goal is to observe, not to judge. You are not collecting data to measure worth. You are simply listening. Awareness invites clarity. You may notice that you feel sharper on days you walk in the morning, or that too much caffeine after lunch makes sleep lighter. These insights become your personal science, simple, human, and practical. Many people find that when they replace criticism with curiosity, health becomes easier. They stop chasing perfection and start enjoying progress. The longevity lifestyle is not about doing everything. It is about doing what matters most of the time. That balance is what keeps the body calm and capable. There are also moments when feedback from professionals can help guide you. Simple health check-ins, basic blood tests, and routine wellness visits can help you understand what your body needs. These are not tests of success, but instruments of awareness. Think of them as mirrors rather than scoreboards. The truth is that your body keeps no secret from you. It shows you its state through how you feel each day. When you learn to interpret those signals kindly, you gain control without force. For example, fatigue after meals might point toward foods that are harder to process. Restlessness at night could reflect an overstimulated mind. Rather than see these as problems, see them as information. With gentle adjustments, you give your body what it asks for. It can help to remind yourself that the journey of longevity is circular, not linear. You will return to the same lessons in new ways. There will be weeks of steady energy and others that feel off balance. Both are part of living. The rhythm of health allows space for imperfection because recovery itself is part of vitality. Consistency without pressure is the foundation of this rhythm. Many people lose progress because they expect motivation to carry them forever. Motivation is a spark. Rhythm is the fire that stays lit. Instead of pushing yourself to keep intensity, focus on small, repeatable actions that anchor your day. A few minutes of breathing in the morning, a short stretch before bed, a walk after lunch. These become quiet rituals that hold your balance without effort. Discipline can feel heavy when it is forced, but it becomes light when built on meaning. Choose habits that make you feel good in the moment, not only later. If your evening tea calms you, let it become a signal that the day is slowing. If music lifts your energy, play it as you cook. These details seem small, but they shape the rhythm that keeps you steady. When life becomes busy, it is normal to drift from your habits. The key is not to see that drift as failure. Simply return to what grounds you. You may skip a walk or sleep less one night, but the rhythm of your body is forgiving. Return with care. You do not need to restart, only to continue. This mindset prevents the cycle of guilt that often ruins consistency. Dr. Hale used to say, health is not built through control, but through trust. The more you trust your body, the more it responds. Trust comes from listening. Listening builds rhythm, and rhythm creates a calm strength that stays with you, even when life changes. As you begin to live this rhythm daily, you will notice something subtle but powerful. Pressure fades, and presence increases. You stop living from a list of instructions and start living from connection. You eat because you are hungry, not because the clock tells you to. You rest because your body asks, not because a program demands it. That is what it means to stay young for life, to be in tune, responsive, and aware. To remain in this state, surround yourself with cues that remind you of your rhythm. Keep your water close, your walking shoes visible, your sleep space calm. Environment shapes behavior, quietly. When your surroundings reflect your choices, those choices require less thought. Over time, your space becomes part of your health system. It is also useful to remember that energy follows attention. When you focus on balance, your actions begin to organize around it. This is why even short moments of reflection matter. A few quiet minutes in the morning can orient your day. Ask yourself one simple question: what would make me feel alive today? That question alone keeps your rhythm clear. The path of longevity is made of these soft practices, not grand efforts. The smallest actions, repeated often, create the strongest foundation. You do not need to chase new methods or complex tools. What you already know is enough when you live it with attention. There comes a time when health stops feeling like something you work on and begins to feel like something you live in. That is the moment when your habits, your thoughts, and your sense of purpose start to move together. The body finds its balance, and the mind finds peace in that balance. The second half of your longevity journey is about nurturing that connection. It is not just about maintaining results, it is about deepening your relationship with the life you are building. When people first begin this process, they often look for structure and control. They want lists, measurements, and clear rules. Over time, the structure itself starts to loosen, and awareness takes its place. Awareness is softer, but stronger. It gives you freedom without losing direction. This shift marks the difference between chasing health and living it. To make longevity a lifestyle, you need to understand that consistency is not built by force. It is built by meaning. Meaning fuels habits that last. You can keep routines for a few weeks with willpower, but only habits rooted in meaning will stay for years. When you know why something matters to you, your actions begin to support that reason naturally. For example, when you walk each morning because it makes your thoughts clear, the walk becomes a gift rather than a task. Your purpose does not need to be grand or complex. It can be as simple as wanting to feel strong enough to enjoy your days, patient enough to connect with others, or calm enough to rest deeply at night. These small, clear reasons give your choices life. Without them, even the best plan feels heavy. Purpose is not what you add to your routine. It is what gives your routine breath. Many long-lived people around the world share one quiet trait. They live with intention. Their lives are not shaped by endless goals, but by patterns of care. They wake up knowing that each small action matters. They eat with gratitude, move with ease, and connect with others often. That quiet awareness creates a sense of flow that science is now beginning to understand. It protects their minds, stabilizes their hormones, and keeps inflammation low. But most of all, it brings them joy. Joy is often overlooked in conversations about longevity, yet it may be one of its most powerful engines. When you enjoy something, your body relaxes into it. Your muscles soften, your digestion improves, your breathing steadies. Even your immune system listens to that sense of contentment. You do not need constant happiness, you simply need moments of joy woven through your days. A good laugh, a slow meal, a quiet sunrise, all of these have a biological echo. I often tell my clients that joy is not a luxury, it is fuel. The nervous system thrives on signals of safety. When you smile, when you share warmth with others, or when you feel gratitude, your body receives that signal. It slows unnecessary tension and starts to repair itself. This is not philosophy, it is physiology. Joy instructs your biology to rest and renew. Connection plays a large role in this. Human beings are social by design. Our health reflects the quality of our relationships as much as our food or sleep. People who age well often have someone to talk to, laugh with, or simply share silence beside. It does not have to be a large circle. Even one or two meaningful relationships can shape your emotional and physical health. The sense of belonging releases hormones that reduce stress and inflammation. To make this part of your longevity lifestyle, think of connection as a daily nutrient. It can be as simple as checking on a neighbor, calling a friend, or eating meals together more often. Community does not have to be formal. It can be built from small moments of kindness that remind you that you are part of something larger. When you give and receive warmth, your body feels safer, and safety supports healing. Dr. Hale often describes this as social oxygen. Just like the body needs air, the mind needs belonging. When you isolate for too long, you begin to lose emotional resilience. This does not mean you must be constantly social. It simply means that healthy connection should have a rhythm, just like movement or sleep. Too much solitude can dull your energy, too much interaction can overwhelm it. Balance is the key. Another part of living the longevity lifestyle is measuring your progress in a way that feels natural. Many people stop tracking because it starts to feel mechanical. The better approach is to observe patterns instead of collecting numbers. Notice how your energy changes with the seasons. Pay attention to how your focus shifts when you sleep better. Observe how your mood responds to time outdoors. These observations build a quiet understanding that numbers cannot always capture. When you do use tools like wearables or journals, treat them as gentle reminders, not judges. Their purpose is to help you stay curious. If you notice your sleep score drop, do not react with frustration. Ask what your body might be telling you. Maybe you had a late meal, maybe stress crept in, or maybe it was just a noisy night. Awareness gives you options. Judgment only brings pressure. There is also wisdom in knowing when to rest from measuring. Health is not meant to be watched constantly. It is meant to be lived. Step away from the tracking sometimes. Spend time doing something that pulls you fully into the present. A walk without your phone, a hobby that makes you lose track of time, or simply quiet breathing before bed. The body does its best repair when your mind is not in constant evaluation. Staying consistent without pressure requires self-kindness. Many people think consistency means never missing a day. In truth, it means always returning after you drift. Life will interrupt your rhythm. That is its nature. What matters is how quickly and gently you return. That return builds resilience. Each time you recover your balance, you make your rhythm stronger. It helps to create anchors, simple signals that keep your habits alive. Your morning glass of water can remind you to hydrate. Setting out your walking shoes can remind you to move. A calm bedroom light can signal that it's time to rest. These physical cues build consistency without needing willpower. They turn healthy living into something that happens almost automatically. The emotional part of longevity is often overlooked, yet it carries deep power. When you live with purpose, the body follows that direction. Purpose does not only mean having goals, it means feeling that your life has shape and meaning. You can find it in caring for others, learning something new, or contributing to your community. People with a sense of purpose tend to have stronger immune systems and slower biological aging. I believe that purpose grows best through curiosity. Instead of asking what your purpose is, ask what makes you feel most alive. That question is easier to answer and more honest. Over time, the activities that spark your curiosity become the threads of your purpose. Follow them. They will keep your spirit youthful and your mind engaged. Another layer of longevity is gratitude. Gratitude shifts attention from what is missing to what is working. It calms the body, eases the mind, and deepens connection. Writing down 3 small things you appreciate each night can reshape your perception of aging itself. Gratitude makes time feel generous. When time feels generous, life slows in a pleasant way. You begin to notice beauty again, and noticing beauty is a sign of youth that never fades. The final piece of the longevity lifestyle is trust in your rhythm, your choices, and your body's capacity to renew. Aging gracefully is not about fighting decline. It is about allowing growth to continue in new forms. Every season of life brings its own kind of strength. Some years are about endurance, others about reflection. Longevity honors all of them. This chapter is not meant to tell you what to do next. It is meant to remind you that you already have everything you need to continue. You have learned how your body communicates, how your mind influences biology, how rest and rhythm rebuild energy, and how connection sustains vitality. Now it is about living those truths quietly, every day. Youthfulness, as we have seen, is not a fixed state. It is an attitude of curiosity, gratitude, and rhythm. It is what happens when you wake up and decide to care for yourself with the same kindness you offer to others. It is not about resisting age, but embracing life. When you live this way, your body listens. It softens, strengthens, and begins again. Dr. Hale often says that the body ages by design, but thrives by choice. The design is nature's, but the choice is yours. I call it the everyday miracle, the ability to renew, repair, and restore. Together, they agree that longevity is not found in a pill, a program, or a secret. It is found in the quiet moments where you choose life fully, again and again.